Chapter 54. Universe's Brain. At this time, any resistance would be futile. He meditated on the universe's brain. His brain cells were 10 times more active, struggling to resist the hypnosis. "What is your name?" The old man spoke. "Rumble." Jiangli heard it. It was as if a god was asking, shaking his soul and almost causing his spirit to collapse. "Jiang Hua." Jiangli resisted, not saying his real name. "What is your name?" The old man asked again. "Jiang." Jiangli stuttered, but he still continued to resist the hypnosis, maintaining his mental state and preventing it from collapsing. "Jiang what? Speak." The old man's voice became louder. Every sound, every note, hit his ears. It was as if his brain cells were being bombarded to a halt. He couldn't even meditate with the universe's brain. He had to listen to the other party's questions. "I'm still called Jianghua." Biting his tongue, Jiangli pushed his spirit to the limit, increasing the universe's brain's meditation, causing his nose to bleed again. Instantly, the pressure was relieved. The old man sat down again, as if nothing had happened. The surrounding people were shocked. "Gaorun, all of you go out." The old man, Chu Shan, waved his hand. "Yes." Gaorun, everyone, even the female secretary, went out. Chu Shan threw a white towel over. "Young man, wipe the blood from your nose." I didn't expect a student to have such a powerful hypnosis technique. To be able to resist my hypnosis, it can be said that in the entire Xinghua city, there is no one who can resist my hypnosis. Jiangli took the towel to wipe the blood from his nose, but he suddenly stopped. "How did you know I am a student?" He was now a middle-aged man, Jianghua. "Not only do I know you are a student, I also know your name is Jiangli." Chu Shan smiled. "That face mask of yours is the lowest level thing. How can it avoid my camera?" He pressed a button, and sure enough, Jiang Li's video appeared. It was very clear. His face was completely revealed, and even his identity information. "You." Jiang Li was shocked. "Don't be nervous, young man." Chu Shan waved his hand, signaling him to be quiet. As expected, Jiang Li felt a wave of tranquil and peaceful aura surging towards him. It was another type of hypnosis that calmed his mind. No wonder Cece said that there's a hypnosis genius among her students and asked me to take a look when I'm free. "I did not expect to meet you here." Old man, Chu Shan smiled. "You." When Jiang Li heard this, he asked, "Who are you to Sister Dao?" His mind was sharp, and he immediately thought of someone. Sister Dao, the teacher who taught him hypnotism. Sister Dao? How did Cece get such a nickname? Chu Shan frowned. Seems like her temperament is still very sharp. Without reaching the perfect harmonization realm, her hypnosis techniques will find it hard to improve. Jiang Li didn't say anything. He knew that this old man was definitely Sister Dao's elder. "I am Shishi's father." Sure enough, Chu Shan spoke. "So it's old master." Jiang Li quickly bowed and saluted. "I didn't expect to meet you here." "What old man?" "That's a name from a few hundred years ago." Chu Shan didn't like this name, but he sized up Jiang Li. "You're just a student, and you actually came to the black market in Suhua City. You have guts. Aren't you afraid of being killed by the gangs? There's danger at every step. It's not a place a student can come to." "Yes." Jiang Li was much more humble. The other party was Sister Dao's father, and the atmosphere became more harmonious. "But I want to enter Star Sky University. Normal training is not enough. I need the help of forbidden drugs, and I can gain a lot of battle experience here. Only in life and death situations can I improve my spirit." "That's true." Chu Shan was amazed. "Your hypnosis techniques can resist my hypnosis. You have a bright future. With time, you can definitely become an intermediate hypnotist." "Grandpa Chu is an intermediate hypnotist?" Jiang Li gathered his courage and asked. "Yes, but I don't live in Star Sky City. I live in Jiaman City. Recently, I rushed over because of the Sun and Moon Group's matter to see how the negotiation goes." Chu Shan did not hide anything from Jiang Li. "I heard that in order to forcefully increase your strength, you use forbidden drugs, causing cell damage. Is that right?" "Yes." Jiang Li answered honestly. He was usually an obedient child in front of his elders. "I've been examined by the doctor. I can only live until 30 years old." "So, you need the fruit of life?" Chu Shan asked. I want to replenish my damaged cells. Zhongli had a glimmer of hope. The fruit of life can indeed replenish damaged cells, but if you can only live until 30 years old, I'm afraid you won't be able to replenish even one. Even if I sell it to you at the market price, you'll still need 5 million. Chu Shan said. Moreover, although I'm one of the directors of the security group, I can't violate the group's rules. I know this rule, but I want to become the security group's internal hypnotist. There must be an internal purchase agreement. Zhongli bargained. Sure, but in order to answer to the board of directors, I have to test your hypnosis ability. Chu Shan pressed a button. Immediately a row of soldiers walked in. Each of them had a stocky build, their vitality between 0.8 to 0.9. Normal beginner hypnotists will use up too much of their mental and physical strength to hypnotize a person into deep sleep. At most, they can hypnotize 2 to 3 people into deep sleep every day, and the success rate is not very high. Give me a try. How much can you hypnotize? Chu Shan started a video call. You need to perform well. I've already recorded it. If you perform well, you'll be more valuable than normal beginner hypnotists, and I'll be able to answer to the board of directors. Okay. Zhongli walked in front of Soldier. He was an elite of the security group. He could see that all of them had a strong fighting spirit, their hearts were firm, and were extremely hard to hypnotize. One of the soldiers looked at him. His eyes showed that he did not care at all, as though he did not believe that Zhongli could hypnotize him. Brother, look at my hand. Zhongli extended out his hand and waved it in front of the soldier's eyes. The soldier's breathing was immediately disrupted, but he was still bitterly holding on, but after 10 minutes, he could not take it anymore and went limp. The second one. Zhongli started the second hypnosis. His fingers blossomed like a flower, continuously rising. His mouth emitted a rustling sound, and the second soldier also fell. The third one. He walked over. Each hypnosis did not require much time. Even if the soldiers did not believe him, they could still be hypnotized. Bang, bang, bang. 10 soldiers were hypnotized consecutively. Only then did Zhongli feel dizzy. The brain of the universe had reached its limit. Every time he hypnotized a soldier, he would caress the soldier's head. It was like a tantric master from a few hundred years ago. The soldiers that were hypnotized would enter a deep sleep. Powerful. Chu Shan stood up. Hypnotized 10 at once? A 100% success rate? Your standard is truly unbelievable. Beginner hypnotists had many cases of failure. But Zhongli did not fail. It was simply a miracle. Cece is right. You are indeed a hypnosis genius. Chu Shan said, How about this from now on? You will be the hypnotist of my security building. You can make 2 requests. First, do not do anything illegal. I can promise you, our security group does not rely on killing to earn money. Second, I can promise you freedom. As for the contract, you still have to sign it. But it is in Star Hua City. Our security building is also there. The contract you signed is also the official contract of the government's business department. That's fine. Zhongli was relieved, since he was going to Star Hua City to sign the official contract of the business department. It was equivalent to looking for a job. Now, any contract signed by a big company, according to the labor law, must be filed with the business department. Only after going through the audit, such a contract would have legal effect. Since that's the case, let's go to Star Hua City. Chu Shan was a little impatient to sign Zhongli. This kind of talent with potential was always sought after by large companies. Wait, what if I need the fruit of life? This was what Zhongli wanted the most. How much money do you have? Chu Shan asked. I can take out 3. 5 million. Zhongli would definitely not spend all the money he had on him. He had hypnotized Xueqiu, and although he had obtained 58 million, the loss outweighed the gain. Instead, he had destroyed his own life potential once again. The only benefit he had gained was that he had increased his combat experience. Of course, he had gotten rid of a gang leader who had committed countless crimes. So much. This time it was Chu Shan's turn to be surprised. He knew that even a rich family with millions of assets may not be able to take out 3 million cash. What price will you sell it to me? Zhongli was most concerned about this. He certainly will not explain. You become our group's contract hypnotist. I will sell it to you at 4 million. How about it? Chushan said, "This is no longer a transaction, but the price of training talents." "Okay, but I don't have enough money. What should I do with 500,000? Can I apply for a loan from the company? Can I slowly repay the debt later?" Jiangli put forward a condition. "This matter will be discussed in detail in Star Hua City." Chushan waved his hand. 3 hours later, Chushan and Jiangli appeared in the headquarters of Star Hua City Security Building. Star Hua City Security Building was located on a mountain in the outskirts. The whole mountain was decorated with very good materials, blue in color, looking like a sapphire from afar. It was still a huge office at the top of the mountain. Chushan opened the screen, and a contract appeared on it. "Take a look at the terms." Jiangli glanced at it. It was indeed a formal labor contract. There was even a business number. As long as it was signed, it would have legal effect. "No problem, I will sign it." Jiangli waited for the contract to be sent out from the chip. Then he began to sign it, input his voice, video, fingerprint, and then sent it over. It was an electronic contract, signed by both parties, then sent to the business department for review, and finally passed the review. Jiangli will become an employee of the security group and find a formal job. Chapter 55. Ding Dong. An hour later, the business department's examiner came over. "Failed. The person who signed the contract has not taken the hypnosis teacher certification. Unable to sign the contract. Hope for the certification as soon as possible." Chushan was startled, then laughed. "I actually forgot about this matter. You need to have a certificate to become a hypnotist. It is illegal to work without a certificate. With your standard, it is a piece of cake for you to take the elementary hypnotist certificate." "I forgot about that too." Jiangli patted his head. "Then I will take the exam tomorrow. But let's talk about the conditions now. I hope to get the life fruit." "How about this? First swipe your card for 5 million, then look for the company to get a loan of 500,000. I will let you take one." Chushan had some authority. Jiangli quickly swiped his card and signed the contract for the loan. After everything was settled, Chushan ordered his men to take out the life fruit. It was a glass bottle, and inside the bottle was a thumb-sized fruit. It was bright red, and there was a dreamy luster inside. If one looked carefully, one could see many tiny particles that seemed like genetic codes were constantly rearranging and combining. It was a very small fruit, only a few grams, but it contained a mysterious thing. The creation of the life fruit is a technology that we humans obtained from a large spaceship that fell from a foreign planet. The elite warriors who are fighting on the foreign planet will use it to heal themselves after getting injured. Chushan sighed. "Take it first and see how far you can recover. After that, go back and do a physical examination and take the exam tomorrow before coming back to work. Your main job is to hypnotize the clients. We will take 1,000 star dollars per session, and you will get 800 star dollars. 800 per session. I can hypnotize 10 people a day. That will be 8,000 star dollars, and I will be able to repay the loan in 2 months." Jiangli calculated, "No, I still need to pay 20% of the income tax for 800 star dollars, so I will only get 640. Xinghua City Security Company was an official industry, and they also had contract with hypnotists, but there were too few beginner hypnotists, and all clients had to book in advance, and each session would cost at least 1,000 star dollars. Now that they were giving Jiangli 800 star dollars and the security company 20%, it was already very generous. Originally, the commission was higher, but because there were too few beginner hypnotists and clients had to queue up, no company could lower the commission or else they might change jobs, and the company would lose more than they gained. Jiangli opened the bottle and swallowed the fruit of life. It was taken orally. After Jiangli consumed it, he felt as if his whole body was soaked in warm water. It was comfortable, and all his fatigue was swept away. He only stopped after 3 hours. When he opened his eyes, he found that his body had become much more relaxed, especially his brain, which had become sharper. "I wonder what my lifespan will be if I check it now. It should have been repaired a lot, right?" Jiangli couldn't wait to go back. He wanted to go to the hospital for a checkup. "This is a card. In the future, our security group will use this to contact you." Chushan handed a chip to Jiangli. "Go and take the qualification test, then come and sign a contract." Jiangli took the chip and couldn't wait to go to the hospital for a checkup. "I can't believe your cells recovered so quickly." According to the examination, you can now live for about 70 to 80 years, and it is still increasing at a slow rate. In the hospital, the attending doctor told Jiang Li the results of the examination with a surprised look. I have taken the fruit of life. Jiang Li nodded. Fruit of life. The attending doctor suddenly realized. No wonder. This is one of the secret technologies of mankind. It is a fruit synthesized by technology from the elite area. But the price is very expensive. You can't buy it in Star City, and it is also very rare in the black market. Doctor, how many fruit of life do I need to take before my cells can fully recover? Jiang Li asked. He knew that his medical knowledge was definitely not as good as the doctor. He had to ask a professional, so he didn't hide his condition. The fruit of life is a healing medicine for the elite area soldiers. It can quickly recover when fighting against enemies. It doesn't have much effect on physical strength, but this thing is rare in the elite area, so the government doesn't allow it to be transported to the ordinary area. The attending doctor shook his head. You probably need one more fruit of life to recover. I need one more? That's 4 million. Jiang Li's heart trembled. He was clean from head to toe, and he still owed the company 500,000 yuan loan. If he was asked to take another 4 million to buy one, he wouldn't be able to. Early the next morning, Jiang Li came to the Psychic Research Institute in the center of Star City. This was an institution used to study psychics, soul, and spiritual science. It belonged to the government department. Here, you can also take the hypnotist qualification test. First, you have to take a variety of theoretical tests. Then, you have to hypnotize animals. Finally, after confirming that you have passed the test, you can take the human hypnosis test. The test was very strict, and there were no loopholes. But Jiang Li passed all the tests and got the beginner hypnotist qualification certificate. With his current level, it was indeed very easy. However, this Psychic Research Institute in Star City only allowed you to take the beginner hypnotist test. If you want to become an intermediate hypnotist, you have to go to the bigger capital. As soon as he got the qualification certificate, Jiang Li came to the security group to meet Chu Shan. This time, the contract was approved in an instant. The business department of the government was very efficient. In the office, after signing the contract, Jiang Li began to ask for advice. Chairman Chu, since you are an intermediate hypnotist, how about giving me a lesson? Didn't you say that if I join the security group, I will be able to receive the training of an intermediate hypnotist? Chu Shan did not like people calling him Old Master, so Jiang Li directly called him Chairman Chu. Lesson? Do you know how much it costs for me to give a lesson to those beginner hypnotists? Chu Shan laughed. Without 100,000 star dollars, I will not even appear. Yes, I could be an exception. Jiang Li shamelessly said. There are not many hypnotist geniuses like me. Don't you want to groom an absolute expert? Your skin is really thick. Chu Shan laughed out loud with a happy expression. Forget it. I'm in a good mood today. I will explain to you the profoundness of cultivation. I am willing to listen. Jiang Li stood respectfully, showing his respect for cultivation. Seeing his attitude, Chu Shan secretly nodded his head. Your heart has reverence and sincerity. Very good. You're a good seedling. But that is all. You lack the temperament of a true expert. Do you know that? What is the temperament of a true expert? Jiang Li was startled. Chu Shan suddenly stood up. Jiang Li's vision turned black. He felt as though a huge mountain was pressing down on him. His entire body was unable to move. It was purely a suppression of his spirit. It caused him to be unable to control his body and was unable to move. A true expert, even in a forest of blades and spears, will still walk slowly. They will overcome all obstacles and obstacles. Even if they die 9 times, they will have no regrets. Chu Shan walked slowly. His demeanor was like a dragon. Those who disturb my heart kill. Those who worry about my heart kill. Those who confuse my heart kill. Those who confuse my heart kill. Those who confuse my heart kill. Those who move my heart kill. Those who stop me from pursuing the Tao kill. The words kill came out from Chu Shan's mouth, causing Jiang Li's face to turn pale white. He seemed to have seen the true spirit of a strong martial artist, the naked sword of the heart, revealing its edge, pressing forward with indomitable will. Those who stop me from pursuing the Tao kill. Jiang Li, although you have talent, but your spirit in my eyes is still weak, confused, and ignorant. With such a state of mind, even if you are given endless resources and spirit medicines, your achievements will be limited. Chu Shan could see that Jiang Li's spirit was not that firm. But the majority of people are the same as you. They need to experience the vicissitudes of life, the changes of the world. Only then can they comprehend and wash away the weakness in their spirit. It is reasonable for you to be confused and uncertain. Right now, you only want to become stronger and do not know the spirit of pursuing the Tao. The spirit of pursuing the Tao. Jiang Li repeated these words over and over again. Recalling the 7 murders, his spirit was greatly shaken. The human heart is like a sharp sword. Only by continuously sharpening it can its sharpness be revealed. Chu Shan sighed. Jiang Li, you are still lacking a lot. The road is still long. On the path of pursuing the Tao, no one can help you. Only you can help yourself. All right, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I will now explain to you some practical knowledge. Old man, what is meditation? Jiang Li shook his head and asked again. Chu Shan sat down and brewed a pot of tea. Actually, meditation is extremely rare even in the ancient times. The most profound explanation of meditation is in the 6th ancestor altar scripture. There was a monk called Ji Huang who meditated for 20 years and thought that he could enter meditation and obtain the true meaning of Zen. A disciple of the 6th ancestor, Xian Su, went to visit him and saw that he was cultivating, and asked him what he was cultivating. He said that he was meditating. Chu Shan paused for a moment and drank a mouthful of tea. Xian said, "You said that you are meditating. Do you have any thoughts in your heart? If there are no thoughts, then even a rock can meditate. If there are thoughts, then all sentient beings can meditate." Monk Shi Huang said, "When I meditate, my heart does not matter if there are thoughts or not." Thus, Xian Su asked again, regardless of whether there are thoughts or not, it is a constant state. Since it is a constant state, where is the difference between entering and exiting? Thus, Monk Shi Huang, who had cultivated for 20 years, was speechless. He knew that his cultivation was not up to par. So he went to ask the 6th ancestor, Huineng. Huineng said, "The heart is like a void, but it is not attached to the void. Use your heart freely, but be indifferent to everything. Eliminate the difference between a saint and a mortal, and become one with your nature." That is meditation. Hearing Chu Shan's explanation, Jiang Li did not really understand. The 6th ancestor did not explain it very clearly. What does it mean? Chu Shan nodded his head. The 6th ancestor's explanation was meant for the great enlightenment monk to hear. Actually, my understanding of the sentence is to retract your spirit and observe your inner body, thinking that your spirit is the main body and your flesh body is an illusion. Like that, your flesh body is like an armor. When blades and axes slash on the armor, it will not cause any harm to you. Thus you can remain calm even if MT-Tai collapses in front of you. This is the so-called Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, seeing that all 5 skandhas are empty. Hold onto your spirit tightly. All the pain and feelings of your flesh body in the material world are all dreams. Thus you will no longer have any pain and worries. I understand a little. Jiang Li seemed to have understood something. No wonder the Heart Sutra says to stay away from inverted dreams to achieve nirvana. That's right, to stay away from inverted dreams to achieve nirvana. Chu Shan said fiercely, "Originally, the flesh body is real. The spirit is an illusion. But to enter meditation and get rid of the impurities, you have to invert your dreams, treat the illusion as reality, and treat the reality as illusion. Invert your worldview. Only then can you achieve nirvana." Meditation is actually a kind of understanding of the worldview, thinking that the spirit is the main body, the flesh body is empty, all the pain and suffering in the material world on the flesh body are all emptiness. Dreaming that you are being killed, actually you're not really being killed. When you change your worldview, all the pain and worries will disappear, and you will reach the state of meditation. Why did the Buddha cut his flesh to feed the eagles and sacrifice himself to feed the tigers? because he knew that everything was a dream. When you know that you are in a dream, you can also cut your flesh to feed the eagles and sacrifice yourself to feed the tigers. Zhongli was enlightened. That is why the Buddhists treat the flesh body as a stinky skin bag and think that the heart is the ruler and the heart is the real thing, and all the laws are like a dream. But he had some doubts. Didn't the Taoists say that if one only cultivates one's nature and not one's life, it will be hard for 1,000 Yin spirits to become a saint? It means to cultivate both the body and the spirit. This is the opposite of the Buddhist cultivation. So which is the truth? 1,000 Yin spirits was the soul. Becoming a saint meant showing one's divinity, appearing in the material world. According to the three realms theory, without a body, the spirit could not show its divinity and lacked the bridge between reality and illusion. But what the sixth ancestor said just now was that he did not care about the body, since it was the opposite, which was the truth. Chapter 56. You've misunderstood again. Chushan shook his head. Sixth ancestor said to enter a meditative state, to have a heart like an empty void, but not to be attached to it. It means to only cultivate one's nature and not one's life, to become a saint. To treat one's heart as real and the body as a dream does not mean to completely abandon one's body. To completely abandon one's body, that is to be attached, to be possessed. For example, if I want to kill you and you treat it as a dream and the body is not important, that is to be attached. I understand now. Life is like a play. A good actor, even though he knows he is acting, he still has to immerse himself in it to become a master actor. If he knows he is acting and does not care, then he will never become a master actor. Zhongli was enlightened. If you understand that life is like a dream, then you will have an open mind and treat your cultivation in life. If you do not care, then you will have a better grasp of everything. This is what sixth ancestor meant by having a heart like an empty void, but not being attached to it. This is also what Buddha said. Everything is like a dream, like a bubble, like dew, like lightning, and should be viewed as such. Yes, to overturn the world view, but not to be attached. Chushan said, everyone coming to the material realm from the illusory realm is a form of fate. We must treat this fate well. Zhongli completely understood sixth ancestor's words. Life is empty, but one cannot give up because of it, but one must treasure the fate of coming to the material realm. To look down on life and death, but not to abandon one's body. Chairman Chu, what kind of power does a middle-ranked hypnotist have? Zhongli was already in the third realm of deep sleep and could enter a meditative state. Once he entered a meditative state, he would have the possibility of becoming a middle-ranked hypnotist. He wanted to understand more. Chushan leisurely sipped his tea. Actually, to become a middle-ranked hypnotist, the first condition is to enter a meditative state. When one enters a meditative state, water and fire will not be able to invade. The meaning of water and fire is not the fire and flood of reality, but the calamity of the soul. Every thought is a calamity, a calamity. Even if you entered deep sleep, there would often be many situations that would cause you to be at a loss. Anger, weakness, and other emotions would surge into your heart. Once you're in a meditative state, you'll have the pearl of wisdom in your hands, and everything will be reflected in your mind. At this time, you'll be able to sense all sorts of profound mysteries in your body. You can even start to hypnotize your enemies without using your movements, hand gestures, voice, or mind waves. So powerful, Zhongli said in shock. You can actually emit spiritual fluctuations without moving? Invade someone else's brain. Isn't this a ghost wall created by an ancient demon? Yes, brainwaves are also something similar to radio. Chushan said, the human brain is like a transmitter. When the brain cells are active, their thoughts can be sent out, allowing them to sense the things in the surroundings. This perception is very weak at the start, but as your spirit force grows stronger, your perception would be able to invade the brain of others, forcefully causing their thoughts to be chaotic, allowing them to be controlled by you. However, only intermediate hypnotists have the power to invade the brain of others. As for advanced hypnotists, they're amazing. They can even directly control a person with their thoughts and stimulate their life potential, turning a person who doesn't even have the strength to truss a chicken into an expert who can lift 1,000 pounds in an instant. This was something that Zhongli knew. Everyone had potential. In times of crisis, some people could unleash their potential. Even an old lady could lift a huge rock to save her grandson. However, after unleashing their potential, they would usually overdraft their own life. Just like Zhongli, although the embryonic breathing realm had boundless strength, their cells were damaged. Advanced hypnotists could actually hypnotize others and stimulate their potential. This would be very useful on the battlefield. Intermediate hypnotists can use their brain waves to invade other people's brain waves and control their actions without using gestures, voice, or any other language. Advanced hypnotists can even directly hypnotize others and stimulate their potential. What about super hypnotists? Zhongli asked. Super hypnotists can directly hypnotize humans and beasts within a radius of a few kilometers or even tens of kilometers. As long as they have thoughts, they can hypnotize them and cause them to explode with extremely strong combat power. Wherever they go, the people there will be infected and even turn into walking corpses. They have boundless strength to attack their enemies. They are extremely dangerous and have extremely terrifying destructive power. Chu Shan said, even the worms and rats underground will be hypnotized by them and become their weapons. Their mental control will reach its limit. So terrifying. Zhongli thought about it. If a super hypnotist were to arrive in Huasu City, he would be able to hypnotize everyone within a radius of a few dozen kilometers. All of them would come out and transfer money to him, obey his orders, and risk their lives for him. How terrifying would that be? However, super hypnotists basically only exist in the elite region. Once they become a super hypnotist, they will become the soul of humanity. Such people do not lack money or resources. Chu Shan said enviously. Then what about spirit masters? Zhongli asked. There is no need to talk about spirit masters. Using an ancient saying, they are gods and mortals. As the saying goes, 10,000 Yin spirits will find it hard to become a saint. Yin spirits are their own hearts and souls. Becoming a saint is to appear in the material world. Even a super hypnotist can't do anything to a rock. However, a spiritual master is different. They can make a rock nod its head. Chu Shan sighed in admiration. 10,000 Yin spirits will find it hard to become a saint? Rocks nod their heads. When Zhongli heard these two sentences, he felt that it was not real. Only spirit masters could use their minds to interfere with the material world and make rocks nod their heads. Rocks do not have thoughts, so no matter how powerful hypnotism is, it would be useless. Chairman Chu, I want to raise my hypnotism techniques. What should I do? How can I enter a meditative state and break through? Zhongli asked. You should be training in the crystal meditation technique. This meditation technique is the safest and does not have any risks. However, it does not require your mind to be active enough. So you need to learn a more complicated meditation technique. Chu Shan said slowly. What meditation technique is Chairman Chu training in now? Zhongli was curious. There were thousands and thousands of meditation techniques. Every expert had their own unique meditation technique. I am training in the furnace heart ape technique. Chu Shan did not hide anything. He pressed his hand, and a few lifelike pictures appeared on the optical computer. Zhongli realized that the pictures depicted a person. Inside the body was a ferocious ape. It was restless. The person had become a pill cauldron and was refining the ferocious ape. Finally, it became a golden Dan. The picture depicted the person's body as a pill cauldron. The ferocious and restless ape was all very lifelike. Furnace heart ape technique is a high-level meditation technique. Imagine your body as a pill cauldron and your mind as an ape. The ape is cruel, vicious, restless, and has all sorts of demons. Then, use your body's true fire to refine it. Finally, the heart ape is refined into a golden Dan. Chu Shan explained, I see that you are also training in a powerful meditation technique. Be careful and don't make any mistakes. If the rhythm of meditation is messed up, your mind will go crazy and you will go berserk. I will be careful. Zhongli knew that the meditation of the furnace heart ape technique was far inferior to that of the universe's brain, but it was also a step-by-step method. The meditation of the universe's brain was too profound, and he had yet to get started. In comparison, the furnace heart ape technique was easier to understand. You have a good grasp of the hypnosis technique. However, there are still many shortcomings. For example, when you make a sound, you will not be able to accurately pronounce the words. This will shock the hearts of others. However, it is not your fault. Language is a form of knowledge. I will explain the profoundness of the mantra words to you. Chushan tapped on the optical computer. Many distorted words appeared. These words are all in Sanskrit. It is one of the most mysterious words in human history. Many monks used these words to visualize and obtain unimaginable power. If we want to learn the mantra words, we must understand Sanskrit. The ancient monks used this. The pronunciation of Sanskrit is much more powerful than normal languages. It has a stronger influence. In modern human society, countless psychologists and linguists have done more research on this language. I have also gained some insights. Zhongli looked at it carefully. This is the word in Sanskrit. In ancient times, monks used this word to visualize. This word is like an ancient person doing yoga. This word, when used to visualize, will unite the body and mind. It will produce an ethereal and sacred feeling. In fact, it is also a form of self-hypnosis. When it is pronounced, it will be released in a sacred tone. It will have a grand impact. Every single word and sound. Under Chushan's explanation, he would analyze every word, explaining it from the perspectives of psychology, medicine, physics, physiology, etc. He would then teach people how to pronounce it and what expressions to make when pronouncing it. For example, some letters had to be pronounced with full concentration, imagining oneself as a Buddha, entering into a divine state of meditation. The deeper the meditation, the more infectious the voice would be, and if one was unable to hypnotize oneself, then it would definitely not be able to influence others. It was like a speech. You must immerse yourself in it, be it impassioned or hysterical. Only then will you be able to influence the audience. If you do not immerse yourself in it, the audience will not be able to be influenced. At the same time, Chushan made an analogy. He even showed the speeches of some leaders in history to Zhongli for him to see. At the same time, he explained how hand seals and sound together could produce a powerful spirit power. All sorts of profound hand seals were explained by him, causing Zhongli to be greatly enlightened. All of this knowledge was extremely beneficial to his hypnosis techniques. After listening to Chushan's lecture, he knew that his knowledge was lacking. There were too many things that he needed to learn. My spirit, Great Emperor Seal, only has a meditation diagram. It does not have any sound. If I am not wrong, the spirit Great Emperor Seal contains many different styles of actions. Every action should have a corresponding meditation diagram and sound. A pity, Great Dream Heart Sutra cannot be activated. Zhongli secretly pondered. No wonder Chushan could become an intermediate hypnotist. Compared to him, his knowledge was not even worth mentioning. If not for the universe brain's meditation and the spirit Great Emperor Seal, he would not have been able to hypnotize so smoothly. An entire day passed just like that. The sky darkened. Chushan then stopped. It has been a long time since I have lectured to my heart's content. Your comprehension is very strong. I have already explained everything that needs to be explained. Let's see how much you can comprehend. I will never dare to forget today's teachings. Zhongli stood up and bowed deeply. It was a devout salute. Go. Chushan waved his hand. The great Tao is boundless, and its true meaning is hard to obtain. With a sword in my hand, my heart is pure. Zhongli heard his long sigh. He knew that such a person had his own beliefs and Tao. He himself did not. The path of seeking Tao was extremely difficult. Chapter 57. With Chushan's guidance, Zhongli had a feeling of being enlightened. He worked hard to learn, and his hypnosis skills and spiritual cultivation finally ushered in a big leap. Many layers of fog in the past had dissipated, and he could see the sun. At home, Jiangli was teaching his sister Jiang Xian how to cultivate, and at the same time, he was testing his hypnosis skills. He suddenly made 2 short and 3 long sounds, mournful and desolate, like the cry of a ghost. This was the result of his recent learning of mantra pronunciation. As expected, Jiang Xian was shocked, and her face turned pale as she retreated in fear. "Little sister, what you feel?" Jiangli immediately stopped making noises and asked. When I heard the sound, my mind suddenly went blank. It was as if I saw a lonely grave with a fox singing inside. It scared me so much that my heart was twitching. Jiang Xian came back to her senses and touched her chest. "Brother, please don't suddenly make strange sounds. It will scare people to death. This is hypnosis. You have to be careful," Jiangli solemnly warned. A skilled hypnotist's voice can cause your brain to hallucinate. When you hear the sound, you must suddenly be alert and immediately enter the crystal meditation state so that you won't be hypnotized. "Got it," Jiang Xian suddenly said happily. "Brother, you became a hypnotist? Can you make money now? I heard that you can make tens of thousands in a month." "I haven't started working yet. I have been busy with cultivation and digesting some things. Now that I finally have some results, I could go to work." Jiangli told his sister and got up to go to the outskirts of the security company. When he came to the big office, Chushan was no longer there, and in his place was a familiar person, Sister Dao. "Congratulations, Jiangli. You will be the hypnotist of our security company." She stretched out her hand and shook hands with Jiangli. At this time, she was not a teacher, but the vice president of Xinghua City Security Company, Chu Cece. "Can I work now?" Jiangli couldn't wait. "I still owe the company 500,000. It's urgent." "Yes, there's a shortage of hypnotists now, and there are many clients. As long as you have the ability, you can make money." Sister Dao smiled. "I heard from Father that you can hypnotize 10 people into deep sleep a day. I want to see what you can do. Come with me." "Yes." Jiangli respectfully followed Sister Dao out to the back of the mountain. There were rows of garden-like leisure villas with mountain springs, running water, swimming pools, and crystal glass rooms. This was a high-class leisure club. The people who came here were all rich people. They came here every day to relax, exercise, and recuperate. Our security group's main business in Xinghua City is a sanatorium. What do you think? Sister Dao asked while showing Jiangli around. "Very high-end." Jiangli nodded. "There are a lot of attractive details. I've heard about it on the internet." It said that the massage therapists of the security group can accurately understand the fatigue level of each joint of the human body. After a massage, the whole body will feel comfortable like a spring breeze. Masseuses are secondary. Hypnotists are the most important. Lady Knife said, "In modern society, material things are more advanced, and people pay more attention to spiritual healing. Therefore, there are all kinds of recuperation and leisure clubs, but what really attracts customers is the quality of the hypnotist." Jiangli knew that many people came for deep sleep. In a large sanatorium, the quality of the hypnotist was the foundation to attract customers. As they spoke, Chu Cece brought Jiangli to a large room. This room was built on the edge of a cliff. The large glass overlooks the beautiful scenery in the distance. Occasionally, clouds would float by, and the whole person would feel like they were floating. In the room, a middle-aged woman was resting with a 13 or 14-year-old boy. The little boy was very naughty and ran around. The middle-aged woman was reprimanding the waiter. "What are you doing? Why is the hypnotist not here yet? Every time you make me wait, it's a waste of time." The middle-aged woman was angry, seemingly impatient to wait for the hypnotist. "I'm sorry." The waiter quickly apologized and kept explaining. "We have too many customers, and they are all waiting for the hypnotist. Please wait patiently for a while." "Wait? I've waited for an hour. My son's training plan is to sleep for an hour at noon and then go for physical training in the afternoon. The schedule is very tight." The middle-aged woman was furious. "If you make me wait any longer, I will go to another sanatorium." In the whole of Xinghua City, the quality of the hypnotist in our sanatorium is the highest and the best. If you go to another place, I'm afraid you won't be able to see the hypnotist even if you wait for a whole day. Chu Cece walked in. NMO, your husband is a city hall official. You should know that hypnotists are very rare nowadays. Cece, you're finally here. The middle-aged woman stood up and complained. It's not that I say the security company is bad, but I'm really impatient to wait. Aren't I here now? Chu Cece looked at the little boy who was jumping up and down. Your son doesn't cooperate with the hypnosis every time, and it's very difficult to produce any effect. You also know that, so the hypnotists don't want to hypnotize your son. Hypnosis requires the cooperation of the hypnotist. Psychologically, the hypnotist has to trust the hypnotist and do whatever the hypnotist tells you to do. But the child is stubborn and doesn't cooperate. In this way, the hypnotist often spends a few hours to successfully hypnotize the child, and the hypnotist is very busy. The hypnotist is not willing to accept this kind of business because it means that he can only hypnotize one person a day, and the income will be greatly reduced. The middle-aged woman had an awkward look on her face. It's normal for children to be active. I can't do anything about it. I worry about this child. In the entire security company, only you can successfully make him fall into a deep sleep. No, I've hired someone today. He's the chief hypnotist of our security company. He can completely hypnotize your son. Chu Cece pointed at Jiang Li. The middle-aged woman looked at Jiang Li with a puzzled look. Her face was full of disbelief. He's a hypnotist? The little boy laughed. Oh, he's only a few years older than me. I don't want him to hypnotize me. I don't believe him. Hurry up and let him go. What do you think? The middle-aged woman also didn't believe Jiang Li. Jiang Li, it's all up to you. Chu Cece smiled. Hey! Jiang Li clenched his hands and suddenly roared at the little boy. Severe warning. The little boy's movements stopped immediately. His face showed a dazed look. It seemed that he was too frightened and his eyes were blurred. Come here. Jiang Li's eyes seemed to emit the green light of a cat. The little boy wandered over like a zombie. His feet didn't touch the ground. Jiang Li stroked his head. Gently. Immediately, a serene expression appeared on the little boy's face. Tranquil, peaceful. Jiang Li formed a hand seal and softly chanted, All conscious laws are like a dream. The little boy followed him and chanted, All conscious laws are like a dream. As he chanted, the little boy just sat down and fell into a deep sleep like an old monk meditating. The middle-aged woman quickly took out a sleep tester to test. Sleep index, 120 points. Deep sleep optimal state. The tester reported a number. A normal tester could only measure 100 points. This tester was obviously more advanced. It's actually so high. The middle-aged woman was shocked into a daze. Jiang Li's series of hypnosis techniques were miraculous. It was completely different from what she imagined a hypnotist to be like. Every time she saw a beginner hypnotist, she had to ask her son to cooperate. She had to use some kind of pendulum, hand gestures, and scare and coax. She had to sweat profusely before she could barely succeed. The morning passed. Now, Jiang Li's roar would stun the little boy like a puppet. He would touch the top of his head and fall into a deep sleep. This kind of deep sleep had a sense of zen. Even those who didn't know about spiritual cultivation could see that it was very beneficial. Master, definitely a master. You can't judge a book by its cover. At this moment, the middle-aged woman was filled with respect. She bowed and said, Master, please forgive me for my disrespect earlier. Same to you. Jiang Li quickly returned the bow. I helped your son, and I also have merit. It's all fate. He hypnotized the little boy into a deep sleep. He felt that deep in his heart, there was a kind of joy. It was to share his cultivation realm with others, to soothe their restless hearts, and to help them out of the sea of bitterness. After receiving Chu Shan's guidance, his heart calmed down. His cultivation these few days was completely different from before. When he hypnotized the little boy, he felt merit. To be able to break through life and death, to be able to achieve nirvana, to be able to help the masses, that was merit. Cultivating the heart could break through life and death. Using spiritual hypnosis, he could calm the hearts of the masses. This was completely different from using hypnosis to rob people in the black market. Comparing the two, Zhongli felt that using hypnosis to relieve the pain of others and calm the hearts of the masses was more beneficial to cultivation. I will go and hypnotize the others. Please help yourself and take care of the child. Zhongli nodded. The middle-aged woman immediately bowed and expressed her gratitude. Master, I will spread your name. Zhongli and Chu Cece walked out of the room. Chu Cece sighed. As expected, your hypnosis techniques have surpassed mine. But without reaching the realm of a middle-ranked hypnotist, you still need to use your voice. How is your cultivation heart now? Have you grasped the realm of meditation? Meditation is split into 3 realms: small meditation, great meditation, and constant meditation. My father has only reached small meditation. Meditation is extremely difficult. Zhongli shook his head. In the 6th ancestral altar scripture, even the old monk who had meditated for 20 years did not know what meditation was, and it was the 6th ancestor who enlightened him. People of my generation can only search for it bitterly. Oh, Chu Cece was startled. Zhongli, you have changed a lot. Gradually, you have a different temperament. Compared to the past, you have changed a lot? What did I look like in the past? Zhongli asked. You did not have the demeanor of an expert. You were an immature young man. Chu Cece waved her hand. You gave people a childish feeling. But these few days, you have changed a lot. I still have to thank Chairman Chu for your guidance. Zhongli knew that Chu Shan had opened a window to his soul, allowing him to see a more exciting world of cultivation. Although you can't enter a meditative state, you are many times more tyrannical than a beginner-level hypnotist. Let me see how many people you can hypnotize today. Chu Cece brought Zhongli to another villa. Inside was a middle-aged government official. He was also waiting for the hypnotist. This government official had white hair. It was obvious that he was too tired from work. His mind was covered in dust, and he hoped to use hypnosis to relieve his stress. When he saw Zhongli enter, he did not believe him at first glance. But soon after, Zhongli waved his hand, said a few words, and patted the official's head. The official became drowsy and entered a deep sleep. The entire process did not take more than a minute. The official's friend was dumbfounded. He looked at the number on the sleep detector and could not believe his eyes. Just like that, Zhongli hypnotized all the way until he had hypnotized 20 people. A beginner-rank hypnotist could only hypnotize 2 to 3 people a day. Chapter 58. In just a few hours, Zhongli's workload was equivalent to that of 10 beginner hypnotists. After hypnotizing 20 people, he felt tired. He knew that he couldn't hypnotize them again today, otherwise his brain and cells would be damaged. 20 people, each of them could get 800 yuan. According to the contract, he could get 16,000 yuan, and after tax deduction, he could get 12,800 yuan. More importantly, every time he hypnotized a person, he would get different experiences and insights, which would be of great help to hypnosis and cultivation. A few days ago, he could only hypnotize 10 people. Now that the number of hypnosis had doubled, it could be seen that his skills and mentality had improved by leaps and bounds. But this was not enough. He didn't get any cash, and all the money from hypnosis was used to pay off the loan. Fortunately, the company gave him an interest-free loan. Otherwise, he would have to pay the interest. In other words, he was now empty-handed, and he didn't even have much money left to buy the nutrient solution. What's more, he needed a 4 million fruit of life to completely recover. In this way, not to mention 20 people a day, even 200 people wouldn't be enough. Although making money was still far away, he was not in a hurry. Every day, he would hypnotize in the morning, meditate in the afternoon, and go to the park to teach the cats at night. Because he didn't have money to buy a lot of nutrients, his physical strength didn't improve much, but his mental cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. For 10 days, he did this every day. Gradually, he became the absolute chief hypnotist in the security company, and his reputation rose. The security company's business was many times better than before. There were very few beginner hypnotists in Xinghua City, and now, Zhongli could fight 10 people alone. His hypnosis speed was fast, and the quality was good. Many customers hoped to be hypnotized by him, and there were hundreds of people waiting in line every day. Unfortunately, he couldn't hypnotize all of them. Ding dong. One day, after he finished hypnosis, he adjusted his breath and rested. Suddenly, Chu Cici's voice came from the email. Jiang Li, come to the office. He immediately rushed to the office. Look at this video. Chu Cici clicked on the big screen. The video slowly unfolded. In the distance, a huge armored flying vehicle appeared in the air, showing an oval shape, making a rumbling sound. The earth was shaking, and some buildings seemed to be shaking. This armored flying vehicle belongs to the military, and there's a sun and moon symbol on it. Is that the black market of the Suhua City? By the way, this military armored flying vehicle can't fly in Starhua City, but can do whatever it wants in the black market of Suhua City, where there is no law. Jiang Li was shocked, and he paid close attention to the live broadcast. Sure enough, the huge armored flying car slowly landed on an abandoned square in Suhua City, causing the ground to shake. Jiang Li watched closely again. Kacha! The door of the armored vehicle opened. There were many dark shadows inside, as if something was about to walk out. Fire! Suddenly, outside the square, many gang members appeared. They were all holding continuous pulse guns, and all of them were expensive physical bullets. Bang, 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 bang. They spat out tongues of fire and attacked the open door of the armored vehicle. This kind of crossfire was too dangerous, and they couldn't get close at all. The huge explosion could even shatter reinforced concrete, but it had no effect on armored vehicles. Whoosh! Just as the armored vehicle was besieged by many gang members, a shadow dashed out from it. This shadow was 2 meters tall, and its entire body was pitch black like a demon god. There were sharp spikes on its back, and the densely packed physical bullets bombarded it, causing a series of explosions, but not even a trace was left. With a scream, this shadow broke the speed of sound and hit a gang member. That gang member screamed and directly turned into a blood mist. Sonic Mecha, Jiang Li said in a low voice. A long time ago, when a car traveling at 100 kilometers per hour hit a person, that person would become a bloody mess. This speed was about 28 meters per second, and the speed of sound was 340 meters per second. An impact at the speed of sound could turn a person's corpse into a bloody mist directly by the shockwave. What is this? A power armor that can reach the speed of sound? A metal exoskeleton? Jiang Li was shocked. In the video, he saw a one-sided massacre. The black shadow that reached the speed of sound shuttled in all directions, and the gang members holding guns were killed one after another. What is a Superman? This is a Superman. Swish! The shadow flew up the building and shuttled through the corridors. No one could resist a single round in front of him. Martial arts masters were as fragile as a piece of paper in front of this absolute power. In less than 10 minutes, hundreds of gang members holding guns were all killed. No gun could do any harm to this shadow. The members of the blacklist outside the square were all wiped out. Therefore, those who posed a threat were all killed. There was only one person, so powerful. Jiang Li was excited. He could feel the shock and explosive power of the Sonic Mecha from the video. The video on the internet was cut off at this point. This is what happened to the Sun and Moon group in the black market today. It completely tore apart the attacks of many gangs and suppressed them on the spot. Chu Cici's expression was ugly. Now, they are carrying out a big construction in Huasu City. They have opened a headquarters and directly sell banned drugs. This has caused a huge loss to the banned drugs market of our security group. Countless people directly went to the Sun and Moon group to buy them. Now, the price of the Moon Spirit Essence has fallen to 70,000 a bottle, reduced by half. Jiang Li raised his eyebrows. The original price of the Moon Spirit Essence was 140,000, and the price was reduced by half. This would cause a sensation in the black market, and countless people would rush to buy it. Once the Sun and Moon group made a move, the market was thrown into chaos. This was their first step to occupy the market on Earth. Our security group's income was mainly from banned drugs. Now, the banned drugs market is under attack on a large scale. Just in Huasu City alone, Many families that originally ordered banned drugs from our security group have all rushed to the black market to sign a contract with the Sun and Moon Group. Chu Cece tapped on another screen, and a list of names appeared on it. They were all customers of the security group, but now they have all switched to the Sun and Moon Group. Jiangli saw the Sanha Group at a glance. The Sanha Group was formed by Zheng Wenbing, Zhang Yu, and Yang Wu. It was quite a powerful group. This time, the Sanha Group directly tore up the agreement with us and went to order the Moon and Moon Group's Moon Spirit Essence. At the same time, they sent a large number of people to the black market to prepare for a big business. As she spoke, Chu Cece tapped on the detailed information. Oh, Jiang Li's heart stirred, and he had an idea. This time, I asked you to come here to let you understand the current situation and see if you can help me think of a way to save the situation. Chu Cece said, the Sun and Moon Group is too powerful. They even have supersonic mechas. After taking over the black market in Huasu City, their power will only increase. Jiangli also shook his head. I can't think of any good ideas at the moment. If a mecha can reach the speed of sound, it will become a mid-martial mecha. It is not something that humans can compete with. This is really troublesome. Chu Cece let out a sigh. Mechas were divided into low martial mechas, mid-martial mechas, high martial mechas, super martial mechas, and holy mechas. Even the ordinary low martial mechas had extraordinary strength and were invulnerable. They could jump dozens of floors on flat ground. This type of mecha was expensive to build and was prohibited by the law. It was a destructive and terrifying weapon. Anyone other than the military who collected it would be breaking the law and would be imprisoned for life. The mid-martial mechas were supersonic mechas. They were even more powerful. Jiangli had already seen them. As for high martial mechas, super martial mechas, and holy mechas, Jiangli had actually seen Earth's battleships enter foreign planets in his dream of the Dream Heart Sutra. It was impossible for the human body to compete with such things. Mid-martial mechas were rare even in the military. Only the armies of first-tier cities had them. Huasu City was not a first-tier city, but a fourth-tier city. Ordinary low martial mechas cost millions of yuan to build. The price of a mid-martial mecha was 10 times or even 100 times higher. In Huasu City, there might be large groups with low martial mechas, but there would be no mid-martial mechas. Therefore, a set of mid-martial mechas would definitely shock everyone. Martial means martial force. Low martial means low-level martial force. At night, Jiangli appeared on the outskirts of Huasu City's black market. He was quietly lurking as if he was waiting for something. The Sanha Group stops here every time they enter the city to purchase forbidden drugs. I will lie in ambush here and intercept the goods midway. Jiangli had received information from the security group and knew that the Sanha Group would soon receive a large batch of goods. Therefore, he entered the black market to inquire. With his hypnosis ability, he was like a fish in water in the black market. He immediately found out some of the secrets of the Sanha Group. He would never let go of Zheng Wenbing, Yang Wu, and Zhang Yu. The outskirts of Huasu City were in ruins. Abandoned factories, buildings, pits, stinking drains, and garbage dumps could be seen everywhere. Jiangli hid quietly. Sure enough, after a while, a flying car landed in the darkness, and a few powerful martial artists walked out. Zheng Wenbing, Yang Wu, and Zhang Yu's family members had arrived. As expected, they are here. Jiangli concealed himself and observed those experts with powerful auras. He listened attentively. A series of conversations reached his ears. Right now, the black market is filled with crooks and honest folk. The number of people is 10 times more than before. We have to be careful when we pick up the goods this time. Don't worry. There are so many of us hiding in the car. Whoever dares to come close will be shot immediately. We will wait for the people from the Sun and Moon Group to come. Then, we will hand over the goods. That will be safer. Why are the people from the Sun and Moon Group not here yet? They are here. The moment Jiangli moved, he saw a few people wearing low martial mechas flying over and landing on the ground. The mechas were also 2 meters tall. They were all made of metal and were very powerful. The logo of the Sun and Moon Group was printed on them. One of them was holding a box. We have brought the goods. Send the money. Let's inspect the goods first. The people from the Sanha group hurriedly said. The two parties gathered together and inspected the goods. Zhongli suddenly saw that the box was densely packed with moon spirit essence. Count the 100 bottles of moon spirit essence. Each bottle is 70,000 yuan. You will have to pay 7 million yuan, one of the people from the Sun and Moon group said. No problem. The transaction was completed in a short while. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The people from the Sun and Moon group flew away and disappeared in an instant. After the people from the Sanha group carefully inspected the goods, they carried the box and were about to return to the car. This is the time. Zhongli suddenly let out a long roar. Chapter 59. The howl was extremely miserable. It sounded like the cry of a ghost or the song of a fox and a cat sitting on a grave at night. Anyone who heard the sound would feel their blood run cold. Their heart would tighten, their body would be covered in sweat, and their head would be in a daze. The 10 people in the car heard the sound. They were all shocked and shouted in unison, "Who is it? Who is it?" They were already tense. This sound tore apart their mental defenses. However, the sound became faster, sometimes long, and sometimes short. There was an oppressive feeling that made people unable to breathe, and there was a feeling of madness and restlessness in their ears. When Jiang Li was lurking, he had accurately grasped the movements of the masters in the car. Now, he suddenly launched the sound hypnosis to knock all of them out in one fell swoop. He had made some achievements in hypnosis. Every sound he made was aimed at the rhythm of a person's life. It suddenly erupted and disrupted the rhythm. More than 10 sounds in a row meant that he hypnotized more than 10 people in an instant. This kind of hypnosis was simpler than that in the security building. Because in the security building, the hypnotists needed to help the guests enter a deep sleep. They had to be careful so that the guests' nerves wouldn't be damaged. But the current hypnosis was to directly stimulate the guests and make them fall into a coma. There was no need to worry about whether the guest's brain nerves would be damaged. Now, Jiang Li's hypnosis was not far from Phantom Fox's. Jiang Li's voice became faster. He changed the syllables dozens of times in a second. It was hard to breathe. A master from the Sanha group shook his head, trying to wake himself up. However, his body tilted and he fell down. Bang! Several masters outside also fell down. Only Mr. Zheng, who was carrying the suitcase, was struggling to hold on. His eyes were blurred. He quickly sat down and tried to breathe to calm himself down. Then he covered his ears with his hands. However, a figure suddenly sprinted over, and a hand knife left an afterimage as it lightly chopped the back of his head. With just one hit, he fainted. Jiang Li had already rushed over. He took them by surprise and hypnotized all the masters in the car with his voice. That was how he could get close to Mr. Zheng and knock him out. Although Mr. Zheng's strength was similar to Xue Chao's, Jiang Li's hypnosis had improved by leaps and bounds. That was why he could succeed so easily. So many guns. With these people lying in ambush in the car, if I hadn't used hypnosis to attack first, I'm afraid I would have been turned into a hornet's nest as soon as I got close. Jiang Li picked up the box and checked the inside of the vehicle. He found that these people were here to ambush him. Even if their vitality reached 1, 2, or 1, 3, they would not be able to get close, let alone 1. Before they could even get close, they would be shot into pieces. It seemed that the Sanha group attached great importance to this business and was very cautious. Opening the box, Jiang Li saw that there were indeed many small bottles inside. 100 bottles of moon spirit essence, worth 7 million. If they were transported to Xinghua City and sold to others, each bottle could be sold for 100,000. 7 million, that's all the liquid funds of the Sanha group, right? I'm going to make you bankrupt this time. Jiang Li carried the suitcase and disappeared into the night again. He entered the black market of Suhua City and headed toward the security building, obtaining 100 bottles of moon spirit essence. With his ability, it was impossible to transport them out of Suhua City. He could only go to the security building and use the other party's channel to pay off the debt. Suhua City was very chaotic. He could vaguely see many abandoned buildings being renovated. It was the Sun and Moon Group's large-scale construction, establishing a base and preparing to unify the entire black market in the future. In the past, it was impossible for any group to unify the entire black market because there were many military leaders involved in the black market. The security building only occupied a few percent of the profits, which was already very large. But now the Sun and Moon Group's strong intervention broke the balance and pattern. It was like a big shark suddenly appeared in a small pond. Bang! On the top floor of the security building, Zhongli put a box on the table and opened it, revealing 100 bottles of Moon Spirit Essence. Gaoren, contact Chairman Chu and tell him that I want to pay off the debt. Use the Moon Spirit Essence to pay off the debt and, at the same time, buy another fruit of life. Jiang Li said to Gaoren. Brother Jiang. Gaoren wiped off the cold sweat on his forehead. He knew that Jiang Li had now become the chief hypnotist of the security building in Suhua City and was highly valued by the higher-ups. Jiang Li's status was already vaguely above him. I will immediately contact Chairman Chu. 30 minutes later, Chu Shan's figure appeared on the big screen. Jiang Li, I agree to let you use the Moon Spirit Essence to pay off the debt and also agree to exchange it for a fruit of life. I will buy it at the price of 70,000 yuan per bottle. Okay. Jiang Li heaved a sigh of relief. He knew that in order to suppress the security building, the Sun and Moon Group had now reduced the supply of Moon Spirit Essence. Therefore, the security building also needed the Moon Spirit Essence. Immediately, he took out 63 bottles, paid off the debt, and exchanged it for a fruit of life. In fact, he was only left with a debt of more than 300,000 yuan, because in the past 10 days, he had obtained more than 100,000 yuan through hypnosis. Everything was settled. The security building brought over a fruit of life, and Jiang Li could not wait to eat it. A warm aura arose, and once again formed an internal circulation in his body. Jiang Li carefully examined his body and felt that every cell in his body seemed to be cheering. Every cell in his body had a strong life potential, and all his vitality had been completely restored. Without the use of equipment, Jiang Li had a rough estimate of his body's condition. This was the result of the improvement of his spiritual training. Some spiritual experts could even observe every minute change in their body, and it was more accurate than equipment. 3 hours later, Jiang Li jumped up, his eyes flashed like lightning, and pierced towards Gaoren. Dang, dang, dang. Gaoren involuntarily took a few steps back. Brother Jiang, you are getting stronger and stronger. No wonder the higher-ups like you so much. You still have 37 bottles of Moon Spirit Essence left. We will help you transport them to Suhua City. Okay, thank you. Jiang Li took out 2 bottles and gulped them down. His whole body felt refreshed, and a cool aura surrounded his body, rotating up and down and circulating in his pores. He felt as if he was ascending to the sky, and his whole body was floating. If it was an ordinary person, they would be intoxicated in a strong spiritual illusion, unable to extricate themselves. But Jiang Li had an extremely strong spiritual mind, and he could control every detail of his body, so he would not lose control and become addicted. With the Moon Spirit Essence, his cultivation would advance by leaps and bounds. It might not be able to make up for his spiritual cultivation, but his physical body would become stronger step by step. Suhua City, in a villa by the riverside. Zheng Wenbing, Zhang Yu, and Yang Wu were having a party and laughing. The Sun and Moon Group came at the right time. They actually caused the price of Sun and Moon Spirit Essence to fall. Now we can buy more Moon Spirit Essence to replenish our body and cultivate. Zheng Wenbing's tone was very gloomy. Yes, the group has already raised funds to buy 100 bottles of Moon Spirit Essence from the black market and sell them to those middle-class families. We can earn 3 million yuan by reselling them. The profits will be used to nurture us. Zhang Yu caressed his face. We have to think of a way to deal with that bastard Jiang Li. If we don't make him pay 100-fold for what happened last time, I won't be able to vent the hatred in my heart. What has he been doing recently? I think he has signed a contract with the security group, becoming a hypnotist. Yang Wu clenched his fists, and cracking sounds could be heard. And he has a small reputation. Security group? Zheng Wenbing laughed. That's yesterday's news. The Sun and Moon Group will completely crush them, bankrupt them, and finally acquire them. Now we have to suck up to the Sun and Moon Group. I must kill that bastard Jiangli. Zhang Yu stood up. Asterisk beep beep beep. Asterisk the AI chip vibrated. Zheng Wenbing pressed on it, and a man appeared on it, looking flustered. Not good. The goods of our Sanha group have been robbed in the black market, and all 100 bottles of Moon Spirit Essence have been lost. Right now, all the higher management of the family have gone to the black market to investigate the situation. The old man is vomiting blood from anger. What? Zheng Wenbing's face instantly turned pale, and the microchip fell to the ground. How could this happen? With the protection of the family's armored vehicles, guns, and experts, no matter how strong a person is, they wouldn't be able to rob them. Zhang Yu and Yang Wu trembled. Oh my God, all of them were robbed? That's all the liquid funds of the family. If we can't get them back, we will have to go bankrupt. At this moment, Jiangli didn't care about the chaos in the three families and returned to Star Glory City. He first went to the hospital for a checkup. The attending doctor had a look of surprise on his face. Your cells have all recovered, and they are very active. Your vitality is very strong. Could it be that you consumed the fruit of life again? That means that my injuries have all recovered. Jiangli had already predicted such an outcome, and the checkup was only to confirm it. Yes, there are no problems at all. The attending doctor gave an affirmative answer. Moreover, your physical strength is very strong in all aspects. Just from your strength alone, your vitality should be more than 1, definitely 1. 1, I have indeed improved. After all, I scored 1 in the last test. After the military training, I comprehended the 3rd stage of deep sleep, experienced the life and death battle with Shueqiu, consumed the fruit of life, learned hypnosis, and consumed the Moon Spirit Essence. It is reasonable that my physical strength has increased. He recalled his experiences from the time he obtained the Dream Heart Sutra until now. It felt like a dream. Arriving at the security organization's mountain, he saw Chu Cece again. Chu Cece was obviously waiting for him. There were 35 bottles of Moon Spirit Essence on the table. You have caused great trouble for the Triad Group. Chu Cece went straight to the point with a meaningful look in her eyes. Their total liquid funds are only 7 million, and you intercepted all of it. Now that they have financial problems, I am afraid it will be difficult for them to make a comeback. 7 million in liquid funds was not a small amount. Shueqiu had only accumulated 3 million after killing people for his entire life. If not for the 2 fruits of life that Jiangli bought, he would have 10 million star dollars in savings. But now he still had no cash on him, only 35 bottles of Moon Spirit Essence. He was not willing to sell these Moon Spirit Essences. He wanted to use them all to increase his strength. In another 15 days, the school will reopen. At that time, there will be a test. I hope that you can surpass Ouyang Xing and become the school's, or even the entire Star City's, number 1 seeded contestant. The treatment at that time will be completely different from now. Chu Cece said, "These Moon Spirit Essences are enough for you to last for half a month. Don't worry, I can completely defeat him now." Jiang Li's tone was very calm. Chapter 60. At night, he came to the park again. Dahe was still cultivating. When it saw Jiang Li, it opened its eyes and a faint green light shone. With a meow, Jiang Li felt slightly dizzy. Obviously, the hypnosis had reached a very high level. Hypnosis? He laughed and pulled Dahe out of the cat's nest. Dahe, your hypnosis is not bad. You can hypnotize ordinary people. I brought you something good today. Take a look. He took out the Moon Spirit Essence. Dahe jumped happily. Take it slowly. Drink it drop by drop. Jiangli took a drop and mixed it into the nutrient solution. Immediately, traces of moonlight appeared on Dahe's body, making it look a bit demonic. After a while, the moonlight on Dahe's body dissipated. Its meow changed. It had more syllables, and its vocal cords seemed to be changing. This is the authentic ancient sun and moon essence. Animals can become monsters if they absorb it. Jiangli was looking forward to it. I wonder what changes will happen. More. Dahe rode on the ground with its claws. Jiangli gave Dahe another drop. Just like that, he fed Dahe drop by drop. Finally, the whole bottle was finished. Dahe began to cultivate the crystal meditation again. After about an hour, Dahe suddenly stood up. Its fur stood up, and its body emitted the aura of a tiger. It seemed to be asleep and awake. Roar. Its roar was like a tiger coming down the mountain. A whirlwind blew. The clouds followed the dragon, and the wind followed the tiger. The third stage of deep sleep? Zhongli was shocked. How can it cultivate so fast? Although I know that animals cultivate many times faster than humans, isn't this too unbelievable? How is it? Zhongli, I'm amazing, aren't I? Dahe wrote, and there was a hint of pride in its eyes. Is this the essence of the sun and moon? I feel that my vocal cords are changing, and I can speak more syllables. As long as I keep taking it, I will be able to speak human language sooner or later. Speak human language? Zhongli nodded. It's not impossible. The essence of the sun and the moon can really change animals. Zhongli, can you show me your AI chip? Dahe wrote, if I had the AI chip, I would be able to learn more about humans, and I could also learn on the internet. Here, I'll teach you how to operate the AI chip. Zhongli thought it was a good idea. He bought an optical computer for Dahe. It could also go online and learn online. After taking the chip from Zhongli, Dahe pressed a button, and a virtual screen appeared. It began to learn how to operate it. It saw Zhongli's bank account and wrote in disdain, Zhongli, you only have so little money in your account. There's no other way. I've spent all my money, and now I only have the essence of the moon. But I'm making a lot of money from hypnosis. Zhongli told it about how he robbed Zheng Wenbing's family from the black market in Suhua City. Black nodded. After familiarizing yourself with the operation of the AI, I'll tell you about my recent experience in hypnosis and cultivation. Let's do it in your dreams. It's a waste of time to talk, but you have to cooperate with me now, so I can hypnotize you. Zhongli waved his hand and secretly made a hypnotic gesture. Dahe the cat was unmoved. In the end, Dahe the cat cooperated and was gradually hypnotized. Zhongli taught it the hypnosis skills that he had recently learned in the furnace heart ape technique. 7 hours later, Zhongli and Dahe both woke up from their sleep. It was already the next morning. Zhongli went to buy an optical computer chip for Dahe early in the morning. After waiting for Zhongli to leave, Dahe put the chip in its mouth and left the park. It went to the station and boarded the train to Suhua City. Now, pets can ride on the train and light rail without buying a ticket. A pet can take a ride to any corner of the earth. Star City Security Building. Zhongli had just hypnotized 25 clients before he stopped. Zhongli, you've improved a lot. You're actually getting more every day. Cece is very surprised by your growth. It's nothing. I take 2 bottles of moon spirit essence every day. Zhongli said matter-of-factly. This level of progress is of course fast. I hope you can progress faster. Chu Cece looked tired. It seemed that she was troubled by the sun and moon group. If you could be promoted to an intermediate hypnotist, then our business in Star City will improve by leaps and bounds. An intermediate hypnotist is a golden signboard. If they're stationed in Star City, even the mayor will come to support them. The influence of such a person is too great. Chushan doesn't stay in a small place like Star City. Today's income is 16,000. It has been transferred to your account. Chu Cece signaled Zhongli to check. From now on, you don't have to pay back the loan. All the income is yours. Hypnotizing 25 clients and earning 20,000. After deducting 20% tax, the net income is 16,000. It is enough to buy a lot of nutrition. This is income from a proper job. He is an honorable taxpayer. After this, the price of sun and moon spirit essence will drop. Hypnotists will be in short supply. Chu Cece sighed. Sun and moon spirit essence needs to be in deep sleep to prevent hallucinations. After the price drop, many parents will need hypnotists to help their children and government officials to consume it. At this time, beginner hypnotists will be in short supply and the price will increase. I will go home first. When the time comes, I will buy a villa and improve the lives of my family. Zhongli said goodbye to Chu Cece and prepared to go home to give his sister the moon spirit essence. Thump, thump, thump. He went up the stairs and was stunned when he reached his house, because he saw 2 people standing in front of his house. These two people were wearing black leather jackets and sunglasses. They didn't move at all as they patrolled the surroundings. They were like door guards. Jiangli could vaguely sense killing intent from these two people. Clearly, they had killed before. Why are there these people in front of my house? Jiangli walked over. Stop, who are you? Don't come near. Suddenly, one of the men in black roared. This is my house. Who are you? Why are you in front of my house? Jiangli was a little annoyed. This was clearly his house, but there were outsiders guarding and not letting him in. At the same time, he had a bad premonition. Why would there be people standing in front of his house? Your house. One of the men in black laughed sinisterly. Your surname is Jiang? That's right. My surname is Jiang. Who are you people? Jiangli raised his head. He could see that these two men in black were very strong. They were definitely different from ordinary bodyguards. They were probably warriors who often killed. He was secretly on guard. Since your surname is Jiang, I will bring you in. One of the men in black walked over and suddenly grabbed Kacha. His arm was very thick and very powerful. He grabbed Jiang Li's shoulder. It was actually a C-grade martial art, Dragon Claw Great Capture. Green Dragon out at sea. Dragon Claw Great Capture was a martial art of the army. Only soldiers could master it. The claw came with a ruthless momentum. It was actually going to crush Jiang Li's shoulder. Jiang Li was very sensitive and could feel the subtle hostility. How could he not know that the person in front of him wanted to hurt him? Oh no, could it be that these people are controlling my parents? Sister? In a panic, he attacked without mercy. Kacha! Without thinking, he suddenly slashed out with his palm. It was pulse break from the capture-killing technique. His hand chopped at the wrist. It was extremely fast. The wrist of the man in black was still 3 inches away from his shoulder when it was cut. A crisp sound could be heard. The man in black was surprised. He retracted his hand and dodged the slash. Suddenly, he punched out. This punch caused the wind to howl. It was actually a B-grade martial art, Ghost God Fist. The Ghost God appears. A bodyguard is actually so strong. He is not weaker than Xueqiu. Jianglu is also shocked. He focused his mind and slashed down with the Great Spirit Emperor seal. It was as fast as lightning and as fierce as the wind. Boom! The two's arms collided like a whirlwind. Jiangli suddenly felt that his opponent was like steel, causing his whole body to go numb. But he was not idle now. He roared. Using hypnosis, he accurately grasped the rhythm of his opponent's life. This roar just happened to cut into the weak point of his opponent's mind, catching him off guard. He used a mantra in Sanskrit. The bodyguard was shocked. His whole body involuntarily trembled. He was 0.1 second slower. Bone-crushing chaos collapse. Jiangli took a step forward to snatch it away and punched him in the chest. The man in black didn't even have time to scream. His face revealed a painful expression. His body that weighed 100 kilograms flew out like a piece of paper. He stuck to the wall and slowly slid down. His sunglasses were smashed. He looked at Jiang Li with a venomous gaze. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. Swish! This strike knocked one out. Suddenly, a cold light flashed from behind. Another man in black actually had a dagger in his hand. He came over silently. With a slash of the dagger, he slashed at Jiang Li's carotid artery. The gleaming dagger emitted a cold aura. Blood would flow with just a slight cut on the skin. Jiang Li suddenly dashed forward. His body swayed, and he let out a hypnotic voice. His limbs trembled. This was also a move of the Great Emperor's seal. The man in black with the dagger was stunned. He shook his head, trying to stay awake. Jiang Li didn't even look at him. He grabbed the opportunity and accurately flicked his finger, hitting the surface of the dagger. The man in black felt as though he was struck by lightning. Half of his body went numb. Jiang Li might have flicked his finger, but with his current strength, even a steel bar would be bent. The dagger flew up high and stabbed into the wall. With his flick, Jiang Li also lifted his leg and sent it out. Heart kick. He accurately kicked the man in black's stomach. The man in black was kicked to the bottom of the stairs. He rolled all the way and hit the stairs until his head was bleeding. His eyes rolled back and he foamed at the mouth. He was unconscious. With just a few punches and kicks, Jiang Li dealt with 2 men in black. However, he didn't let his guard down. These men in black were actually very strong. Their vitality had already reached one. How could such people be bodyguards? What kind of big shot could drive them? Why did they come to his house? What happened back home? The door was ajar. He rushed in and heard a voice. Jiang Zhendong, I didn't expect that you would become a commoner after betraying our Jiang family for more than 20 years. Chapter 61. Entering the house. Jiang Li's heart skipped a beat when he saw the scene in front of him. In the living room, his parents and sister were forced to stand in a small corner. On the sofa sat a young man of the same age as him, about 17 or 18 years old. Beside the young man stood about 5 bodyguards in black. Each of them had an extraordinary aura, like a field mercenary. In addition, there was an old man in his 60s with a goatee. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking at the scene with an unfathomable look. The lock of the house door was broken by violence. The dining table was in a mess. Many tonics were scattered all over the floor. It was obvious that a family was having dinner when the thugs broke in and caused chaos. The stellar body-strengthening pill he bought for his sister had been collected and piled on the table. The young man held a stellar body-strengthening pill in his hand and sneered. Jiang Zhendong, you have been living in seclusion in Xinghua City for so many years. You are just an ordinary citizen, yet you can afford 2,000 yuan each. I have underestimated you. Crack. He crushed the pill in his hand. Don't touch my medicine. Jiang Xin screamed. You robber. I will call the police. Call the police? The young man smiled casually. Jiang Zhendong, tell him, is there any use in calling the police? You must be Jiang Zhenyue's son, Jiang Lu. Jiang Zhendong's eyes were filled with hatred. What does the matter between me and the Jiang family have to do with you? How dare you? The old man suddenly said. Jiang Zhendong, how dare you speak to the young master like this? What is the young master's status? What is your status? Forget it. Jiang Lu waved his hand, his every movement exuding an air of nobility. I won't bicker with a test tube. There are too many people like him in the Jiangs. Even though he is the son of the old master, he has no right to inherit or even have the right to bear children. Jiang Zhendong, I came here today to ask you. You left the family without permission, married a wife, and had children. Do you really not care about the family rules? That person outside is your son, right? His skills are not bad. He actually crippled 2 of my men. How dare he? He had already seen Jiang Li, but he did not care. Obviously, he was full of contempt. Jiang Li, get out. His parents shouted anxiously. Call the police. Call the police. Jiang Lu waved his hand without looking. Immediately, 5 black-clothed men surrounded Jiang Li and tried to control him. Whoosh! Jiang Li suddenly punched out with 5 moves in one move. Dragon Claw Great Capture, Fire Dragon Blazing. The black dragon turned its head, the white dragon spat out a pearl, the azure dragon emerged from the water, and the cloud dragon stretched out its claws. His hand speed was unbelievably fast. Swish, 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 swish. The claw shadows exploded like flames, grabbing at the bodies of these black-clothed men. When the 5 black-clothed men saw the fierce claw shadows, they all shrunk back at the same time. This dodge actually allowed Jiang Li to break through and reach his parents' side. Little bastard, your skills are not bad. The old man spoke. He took a step forward and looked at Jiang Li. These 5 people are all warriors with a vitality of 1. You can actually force them back by yourself. He's just a high school student, yet he's already so ruthless. Looks like he can't be allowed to live. Gu Xiong, don't touch my son. Jiang Zhendong's expression changed drastically. Your son? I've said it before. According to our Jiang clan's rules, people like you don't have the right to give birth. But you actually secretly married a wife and had a child. Your son and daughter shouldn't be born in this world, allowing the Jiang clan's genes to flow out. The young man raised his head. Gu Xiong, teach his son a lesson first. Yes, young master. The old man Gu Xiong took a step forward. His eyes suddenly emitted a green light, and all his hair stood up as if there was static electricity attracting him. This was the abnormal phenomenon of his body when his brain cells were operating to the extreme and his blood vessels were spurting out. Jiang Li suddenly felt dizzy. Intermediate hypnotist. He roared. He knew that Gu Xiong had another identity. He was actually an intermediate hypnotist. His aura was exactly the same as that Chu Shan. Sleep. Gu Xiong walked forward step by step. His figure became taller and taller. Your body is filled with sin. Filth is everywhere. Only by sleeping can you relax your soul. I will help you clean the filth. God said, when a person descends into this world, he has sin. He should kneel down and repent. His voice was very loud. It was as if the priest was praying to God. Jiang Li only felt that the other party's voice was like thunder, exploding in all directions. A wave of drowsiness engulfed his mind. All sorts of illusions appeared in front of his eyes. Everywhere was white light. Within the white light, there was a beautiful angel flying. The old man Gu Xiong was tall and big. He walked down from the clouds. Every step he took almost caused his soul to collapse. He knelt down and worshipped. Jiang Li immediately thought about the universe's brain. His thoughts flickered as he tried his best to resist the hypnosis. He discovered that Gu Xiong's hypnosis was even more powerful than Chu Shan. In his mind, a wave of drowsiness surged up. It was as if a mountain was pressing down on him. Gu Xiong's spirit cultivation had already entered a meditative state. Such a spirit could already allow his spirit to invade the mind of others and control the enemy's mind. At that time, Chu Shan didn't use his full strength. That was why he was still able to resist. But now Gu Xiong was using his full strength. Although his hypnosis technique had improved by leaps and bounds, he was still unable to enter a meditative state. Jiang Lu stopped. Jiang Zhendong wanted to rush over, but was stopped by a few black-robed men. He shouted, "That year when I participated in the research of the Sun-Moon essence, the clan said that as long as the research was successful, all of us would have the right to reproduce. They even promised me 1/10,000th of shares. It was you who went back on your words." "What? You still want shares?" Jiang Lu acted as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. "For people like you, the clan doesn't allow you to cultivate and only allow you to do research. It is because you are the dogs raised by the clan. If the clan is willing to give it to you, it is a reward. If they are not willing to give it to you, you cannot have any complaints. Go to sleep for me. Rumble." At this moment, Gu Xiong let out an even louder voice. The entire house was slightly shaking. Gu Xiong once again used all his strength to hypnotize Jiang Lu. And Jiang Lu's eyes flashed with a trace of astonishment. This kid's spirit cultivation is not bad. It seems like the Jiang clan's bloodline has leaked out, causing him to be so strong. Gu Xiong, cripple him. I will bear the consequences. Jiang Lu, this is a society governed by law. You can't cover the sky with one hand. Jiang Zhendong roared again. He saw his son, Jiang Li, struggling to hold on. Jiang Li's entire body was drenched in sweat, and his heart ached. Exterminate. The sweat on Gu Xiong's face flowed down like a waterfall. He didn't expect Jiang Li to be so hard to hypnotize. He had already used all his strength, but Jiang Li was still stubbornly holding on. It was truly inconceivable. At this moment, his entire body suddenly swelled up. He was like a toad that had sucked in enough air. After that, he let out a ferocious roar, and a whirlwind appeared out of nowhere. He formed seals with his hands and uttered a mantra. It was so shocking that the others almost fainted. This mantra could definitely shock a ferocious tiger to death. Jiang Li only felt a kacha sound in his heart, and there were signs of it cracking open. He knew it was an illusion, but his spirit was still shaken to the point of dizziness. At this moment, the milky white stone in his chest that had been silent for a long time suddenly moved. Ah! Gu Xiong retreated continuously, and blood flowed out from his eyes. He waved his hands wildly. What? What is that? His mind started to go haywire. This was even more severe than the backlash from the illusion fox. The Dream Heart Sutra has saved me once again. This is a good chance. Let me hypnotize you. Jiang Li woke up and suddenly roared. Kneel for me. Gu Xiong's body immediately trembled, and both his knees were trembling. Jiang Lu was a little surprised. He stood up abruptly, and his entire body emitted an unparalleled aura. His clothes fluttered even though there was no wind, and a powerful life force was released. He took a step forward and appeared in front of Zhongli. It was as if the ground had shrunk to an inch, and he was in a trance as he punched out. Ghost God Fist, be grade martial art. Ghost God appears. In a single strike, the fist aura shot out in all directions. The air under his fist seemed to turn into water, splashing in all directions. His fist broke through all obstacles, causing people to not know if it was real or illusory. The fist arrived in front of Jiang Lu in an instant. Too strong, Jiang Li couldn't be bothered with hypnosis and immediately dodged with all his might. They were both 17 or 18 years old, but Jiang Lu's strength was simply heaven-defying. Rumble. The moment Jiang Li dodged, Jiang Lu's fist bombarded the wall behind him. The wall cracked inch by inch, and a large hole suddenly appeared. This was caused by flesh and blood. Woo 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 woo. At this time, the sound of police sirens could be heard from outside. Before Jiang Li entered the house, he had already reported the case, and now the police had finally arrived. Young master, let's go. The Sun and Moon Corporation has just been stationed on Earth, and there must be no negative effects. Gu Xiong suddenly said. He was actually still able to maintain his consciousness. Oomph. Jiang Zhendong, I will let you off today, but you won't be so lucky next time. When Jiang Lu heard this, he didn't make a move. He looked at Jiang Li coldly and said, You are studying in Xinghua High School, right? You are not worthy of the Jiang family's bloodline, and I will personally take it back. As he spoke, he walked out of Jiang Li's house, and with Gu Xiong and a few black-clothed followers, they stepped onto the rooftop and drove a car up into the sky. The two black-clothed men who were beaten up by Jiang Li were also taken away. When the police arrived, the house was in a mess. When the police heard Jiang Li's description, he was very concerned at first, but when he heard that it was the Sun and Moon Corporation, his face changed. After doing a scene investigation, he hurriedly left. Student Jiang Li, the police department will launch an investigation into this matter. Please wait patiently. In fact, Jiang Li didn't have much hope for the police department's investigation. Although it was a legal society now, the other party's power was too great, and they could put this matter aside with just a sentence. He slowly walked into the house and packed up the things with his sister. Then he asked, Dad, what's going on? What is our relationship with the Sun and Moon Corporation's Jiang family? Now that things have come to this, I won't hide it from you. Jiang Zhendong let out a long sigh. You heard just now, I am a member of the Jiang family. The Jiang family is a giant family, but the Jiang family is divided into two kinds of people. One kind is the direct line of descent, and they are born from the mother's womb. The other kind is test tube children, and they only know their father and don't know who their mother is. I am one of them. Needless to say, Jiang Li had already understood everything. Nowadays, the bosses of large corporations all wanted to cultivate more descendants. Some of them would donate their own sperm and then find the eggs of outstanding women in the egg bank to fuse with them. They would use the artificial embryos in test tubes to create babies, and they would still be their descendants. Some big shots would create hundreds of children at once. But these kinds of children simply couldn't compare to the feelings of those who were born from 10 months of pregnancy. Moreover, they didn't even know who their mother was. Later, this kind of thing was banned by the government. All humans were only allowed to be pregnant for 10 months, because when humans came to this world, they could only develop a kind of spiritual feelings with their parents through 10 months of pregnancy. Those test tube babies were your children in terms of blood and genes, but it was difficult to get emotional recognition. This kind of thing would cause chaos in human morality. However, some giant corporations completely ignored this law. In our Jiang family, the old master has hundreds of sons, and most of them were created in test tubes. These people can't cultivate and can only do scientific research. They can't even get married, and they can't reproduce because this will cause the Jiang family's bloodline to leak out. Jiang Zhendong said bitterly. However, when the Sun and Moon Corporation was developing the Sun and Moon essence, in order to make us work hard, the family promised that as long as the development was successful, we could get the right to reproduce, get married, and have children. Especially me, I could even get 1/10,000th of the corporation's shares. But after the sun and moon essence was created, they went back on their words. How big was the sun and moon corporation? How many assets? Jiang Li couldn't calculate. He only knew that this corporation was spread across many planets. But what he knew was that 1/10,000th of the shares was definitely more than 100 million, or even a billion or more. Chapter 62. After listening to his father's explanation, Jiang Li felt a chill in his heart. This kind of family was too scary. Through test tube methods, the old man created hundreds of children and made them his descendants. Those sons had no inheritance rights, not even the right to bear children. They could only do things for the family and then die of old age. This kind of life was sad. He thought about himself. His mother was pregnant for 10 months and gave birth to him. Jiang Tao and Jiang Xian were the same. As for his father, he didn't even know who his mother was. He was raised as a slave by the family. When he finally left the family, he was still chaste. Now we are in a legal society. They wouldn't dare to kill people openly. Even in the era of the state more than 200 years ago, the boss of a big group couldn't easily kill people. Jiang Xian was very angry. That's true, but they have many ways to kill us. It's easy to dodge a spear in the open, but hard to guard against a stab in the dark. Jiang Zhendong sighed. They didn't kill me now because they want me to go back and admit my mistake. They want me to continue to study the sun-moon essence and eliminate the addictive and hallucinogenic effects so that the government can unseal it and make it a legal drug. Oh my God, Jiang Xian gasped. If the sun-moon essence is not a banned drug and is completely open to the market, the sun-moon group will instantly expand 100 times. Because ordinary people couldn't take the sun-moon essence, it couldn't be sold publicly. It could only be sold through the black market. But if the drawbacks were eliminated, the government could allow it to go on the market. Think about how big a sensation it would cause if such a good drug was allowed to go on the market. Zhendong, you can't go back to the Jiang family. His mother held Jiang Zhendong's hand. You can't work for them even if you die. Of course. Jiang Zhendong said, they don't keep their promises, but one day, I will take back what belongs to me. The sun-moon essence was developed by me. Since they didn't keep their promise, the patent belongs to me. Dad, we should be careful. Jiang Li said calmly. I don't think Jiang Li will give up. I don't care. At most, I will die. Jiang Zhendong's tone was solemn. But you, Jiang Tao, and Jiang Xian are my hope. If I die, you must fulfill my last wish and take back the patent of the sun-moon essence. Dad, I will definitely help you. Jiang Li nodded heavily. Everyone is tired today. Let's rest. Jiang Zhendong sighed. It's a pity that the Jiang family came too early. If they had come half a year later and you were admitted to Starry Sky University, they would not have come so unscrupulously. Jiang Li nodded and didn't say anything. He arranged for his parents and sister to sleep and then returned to his room to sleep. Rumble. Suddenly, just as he entered deep sleep, a familiar voice rang out again. Dream of 1,000 autumns, what year is it today? In the dream, a white-robed man appeared. He sat upright in the void and displayed the starting stance of the great emperor's seal of the mind. Above his head, the brain of the universe was still flashing. Jiang Li observed the brain of the universe in his dream and discovered even more mysteries. The subtle changes that he didn't understand in the past now gave him a sense of sudden enlightenment. Congratulations on activating the Dream Heart Sutra again. The tall white-robed man looked at Jiang Li. However, this pitiful amount of spirit force is only enough for you to obtain the first-hand cultivation method of the Great Emperor's Seal. In the dream, Jiang Li didn't say anything. He knew that even if he asked, the white-robed man wouldn't reply. It was completely a spiritual imprint left behind by a great emperor. The Great Emperor's Seal is divided into 9 stances. Heaven, earth, man, heart, water, fire, wind, thunder. These 8 seals are supplementary, and the fundamental seal is the Great Emperor's Dream Seal. You have now activated the cultivation of the Great Emperor's Seal. Remember, the Thunder Seal is the last seal of the Great Emperor's Seal. It focuses on offense and is ever-changing. Now, I will tell you the pronunciation of the word thunder. Thunder. The tall white-robed man formed a seal with both hands. It was as if the thunder god was striking down violently. It was the righteous path of the heavens, exterminating terror, slaying evil, shocking people's hearts. At the same time, a series of syllables came out of his mouth. This syllable was the pronunciation of the word thunder. It wasn't any of the characters on earth. The syllable of the word thunder was very long. At first, it was like rumbling thunder. Suddenly, it became louder and more thunderous. Although Jiang Li was in a dream, he still felt his spirit stirring when he heard this voice. He almost fainted, but soon after, the sound of thunder changed and became impassioned. It made one's blood boil, and it was as if they were about to wield their swords and dance. Suddenly, it changed again and was filled with vitality. It was as if the spring thunder had awakened the earth, and all living things had been revived. And at this moment, the universe's brain was flashing violently above the middle-aged man's head. It represented that his thinking had reached the limit. Suddenly, violent thunder and lightning filled the universe. Millions of lightning seas appeared in the sky. The lightning bolts were like long dragons that soared through the void. Close, sound, meditation, hand seals. They formed the great emperor's seal, thunder seal. The universe's brain can transform into thunder and lightning. The great emperor's thunder seal can exterminate heart demons, revive all living things, and raise the spirits of the people. Everything is within the transformation of the spirit. The white-robed middle-aged man performed and gradually disappeared. Jiang Li woke up from his dream. He clearly remembered the various sounds, meditations, and postures of the great emperor's thunder seal. This was all the work of the intermediate hypnotist Gu Xiong. He had used his full strength and almost destroyed Jiang Li's spirit. In the end, the Great Dream Heart Sutra was like the illusion fox. It automatically came out to save its master and absorbed his spirit energy. It activated the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal within the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal. Although it was only a Thunder Seal, it was all-encompassing. It seemed to contain all sorts of relationships between thunder and oneself. It seemed to contain the mysteries of the universe, yin and yang, and the soul. Thunder arts. It was already midnight when Jiang Li got up. He turned on his photon computer and immediately searched for the knowledge of thunder arts. The Great Emperor's Thunder Seal contained the ancient mysteries of thunder. He could understand it in a short time. He needed to cram on the postures of thunder arts before he could cultivate it. Since ancient times, the ancient Chinese orthodoxies had the 5 thunder palm and the thunder palm. Both of them used meditation as the foundation and the sound of the limbs as the support to unleash an astonishing explosive power and telepathy. At the same time, one could observe the vibrations of thunder and understand the mysteries of yin and yang. In ancient times, it was rumored that the Taoists who knew the 5 thunder arts could summon the clouds and rain. With a strike of their palms, they could shatter mountains and subdue demons. But in modern times, there were all sorts of martial arts. The ancient thunder arts have been scientifically and systematically researched. The B-grade martial art, the 5 thunder fist, was similar to the ghost god fist. It was secretly circulated in the military. In the feudal era, many Taoists had written down the theories of thunder arts. The Song Dynasty Taoist master one had written the thunder arts discussion chapter. There were also records of thunder arts in the secret decree of the Qingwei Tao. If the mantra hand seal belonged to Buddhism, then thunder arts belonged to Taoism. It was a secret art cultivated by the ancient Chinese Taoists. Modern psychic studies were very advanced. Many people had done experiments to meditate on thunder and lightning. The soul and the power of nature could be fused into one. At this moment, the impurities in the soul would be the least. Thunder would shock ghosts and gods. This was an ancient saying. Those with ulterior motives were afraid of thunder. This paper is well written. Jiang Li found another paper on thunder and electrostatic force field of a human body. It stated that when a person was in the middle of thunder and lightning, all the cells in the body would be driven by the electric field and be in a state of activation. Moreover, when the mind was shocked by thunder, it would be blank. At this moment, the mind would be the purest and be in the state of heaven-man connection. In short, Thunder arts was a high-level cultivation technique that stimulated the mind, dispelled distracting thoughts, and mobilized the potential of life. However, it was also very dangerous to cultivate thunder arts. When meditating on thunder and lightning, there would be a sudden shock and shock. It could easily cause damage to the brain cells. Cultivating for a long period of time could even cause one to become an idiot. Therefore, anything that involved the cultivation of thunder arts was a B-grade martial art and above. Jiang Li searched on the internet for examples of people who entered a state of brain death after cultivating thunder arts. There were even people who became absent-minded after cultivating Ghost God Fist. They really thought that they were possessed by ghosts and gods, resulting in a bloody massacre. The Great Spirit Emperor Seal is a combination of 9 hand seals. They are heaven, earth, human, heart, water, fire, wind, and thunder, together with the general principles dream seal. Everything is like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, or a shadow. Thinking about the Great Dream Heart Sutra, Jiang Li recalled the last 4 sentences of the Buddha's most classic Diamond Sutra. Everything is like a dream, like dew and lightning. It should be viewed as such. The entire great 1,000 worlds and the void of the universe were all like a dream, like morning dew, fleeting like lightning. The final outline of the Great Spirit Emperor Seal was the Dream Seal, which was similar to this philosophy. He was immersed in comprehending the Great Emperor Lightning Seal. In the outskirts of Star Glory City, in a huge villa on a mountain, Jiang Lu stood respectfully beside a middle-aged man. Gu Xiong was lying on the bed with his eyes wrapped in bandages. Beside him, a few attending doctors were carefully examining him. Mr. Jiang, Mr. Gu Xiong suddenly encountered an external disturbance when he was highly concentrated. He received a strong shock, which caused him to lose his sight, and the blood vessels and nerves in his brain were damaged. With the medical standards of Star Glory City, there is no way to cure him. After some research, the doctors carefully reported the diagnosis and treatment results. Got it, you guys can leave. The middle-aged man waved his hand and turned around. Jiang Lu, you found Jiang Zhendong? Today, you brought Gu Xiong to look for him. What happened to Gu Xiong? Father, I also don't know what happened. Maybe Gu Xiong suddenly had a mental breakdown. Jiang Lu's tone was cold. Master, I might have been in a highly concentrated state, like a fully drawn bowstring. I collapsed after reaching the limit. Gu Xiong sat up, but don't worry, a simple surgery will be able to cure him completely. I am still clear-headed. That's good. I will immediately send you to a more advanced city for surgery. The middle-aged man was Jiang Zhenyue, one of the executives of the Sun and Moon Corporation. He was tall and had a majestic aura. With a casual movement of his palm, he gave off the feeling that he held great power. You are an intermediate hypnotist and the wealth of the Sun and Moon Corporation. You have been with me for so many years and have been loyal. I will not let anything happen to you. Thank you, Master. Gu Xiong's face did not change at all. Then, a few people appeared and carried him out. Just now, the police department sent me a letter, hoping that the Sun and Moon Corporation will uphold the human law. They want you to explain what happened today. Jiang Zhenyue threw the letter to Jiang Lu. There is no need to explain this matter to the police department. What can a small police department do when it comes to the Sun and Moon Corporation? Jiang Lu threw the letter into the dustbin. He did not care about the human law. Chapter 63. Even so, Luer, you still have to be careful. Don't cause any negative impact on our Sun and Moon group. Jiang Zhenyue nodded. Although our Sun and Moon group is powerful, we can't compete with the human government. Do you know what to do now? I know. I will ask my subordinates to compensate him for the damage to his door and walls. Jiang Lu smiled coldly. However, Jiang Zhendong's son is quite powerful. He can actually dodge my full-strength punch. I have checked. His vitality is at 1. He is the focus of the school's training. He is likely to be admitted to Starry Sky University. Oh, it's not good if he is admitted to Starry Sky University. We still have to let Jiang Zhendong return to the family and continue to study the essence of the Sun and Moon. Jiang Zhenyue slightly frowned. But finding his whereabouts is also a great contribution. Father, why is it so troublesome? We could just take Jiang Zhendong back to the family. Jiang Lu said, "As long as you say the word, I will do it immediately. If I could do that, I would have done it long ago." Jiang Zhenyue waved his hand. "I have investigated his son's information. Take a look." ZZZ. The big screen of the optical computer flashed. 2 words appeared above. Jiang Tao. Below, it was a series of triple X. Behind triple X was the word top secret. What? Jiang Lu's eyes suddenly sharpened. Top secret? We can't find any information about him. How could this be? There is only one possibility. He has joined the military's secret agency. Jiang Zhenyue thoughtfully said, "His son is not simple. So these days I've been thinking about how to deal with Jiang Zhendong, but there are all kinds of methods. If we forcibly take him away, if we provoke the military, we won't be afraid. But if the impact is too big, I'm afraid we will be attacked by the public. You know, our Sun and Moon group came to the Earth to open up the market, and we are already hated by many big bosses. If we use this matter to make a fuss, even I will be punished by the board of directors." "Father, this is it." The corner of Jiang Lu's mouth curled up, revealing a playful smile. "Anyway, I'm also 17 years old, so I'll go to Tsinghua High School to study. And by the way, I'll be admitted to Starry Sky University. In the last semester, I'll find out the ins and outs of these 2 brothers, and at the same time, I'll kill them. Then, I'll capture Jiang Zhendong and let him continue to study the essence of the sun and moon. This damn human law, although we don't care about it, sometimes we're bound to do things." "That's good too. You can cultivate better if you're admitted to Starry Sky University. The competition for resources in the family is fierce." Jiang Zhenyue nodded. "My intention is to let you pass the exam and establish your own business. After all, although you are a direct descendant, you don't have any family shares. Father, I will let everyone know that I, Jiang Lu, am the strongest." Jiang Lu raised his head, his eyes sharp like an eagle soaring in the 9th heaven. "I'll ask my subordinates to go to Tsinghua High School to handle the transfer procedures and directly enter the top class." Jiang Zhenyue tapped his fingers on the table. Deep in the park, Jiang Li swallowed the essence of the moon spirit in one gulp and began to cultivate the great emperor's lightning seal. His body leaped and galloped. Every gesture was mighty, majestic, and had the strength to move mountains and rivers. His aura was unparalleled. When he opened his 5 fingers, air currents were generated, lightning struck out, and thunder rumbled from the depths of his bones. In his mind, he meditated on the brain of the universe, flickering nonstop. Suddenly, the brain of the universe evolved into a violent thunder and lightning, covering the entire universe. Billions of lightning bolts flashed nonstop in his mind. Each lightning bolt had a different shape. Some were like dragons, some were like snakes, and some were like some kind of symbol. It revealed the mysteries of the collision of yin and yang in the universe. Jiang Li's hand speed increased, and suddenly, he fiercely struck a large rock in the park. This rock was made of granite, and it was as tall as a person. However, after being struck by Jiang Li, the rocks on it flew everywhere, and deep cracks appeared. Under this strike, it was no longer a power that could be exerted by flesh and blood. Following that, he continued to strike, and every palm strike left a deep mark on the rock. In the process of cultivating the great emperor's lightning seal, he had a subtle feeling. As he meditated on all kinds of lightning, his body was undergoing some kind of change, making his body more vigorous. At night, a bright moon hung high in the sky. After Jiang Li had taken the essence of the moon spirit, he raised his head to look at the bright moon, and there seemed to be a mental connection. He and the bright moon had a subtle telepathic connection. This was an illusory feeling, very hazy and very beautiful. It nourished his soul, and he felt the vastness of the universe. His spiritual cultivation was growing bit by bit, and his physical strength was also rising. Although the great emperor's lightning seal was just a gesture, when combined with meditation, it was unpredictable. The heart and body were one, and the spirit and flesh were one. When the seal was struck out, thunder rolled, and demons were slain with a single thought. I've been in the 3rd stage of deep sleep for a long time. The essence of the sun and moon also has the effect of strengthening my brain cells and supporting my spiritual cultivation. I wonder when I can enter meditation. For 10 consecutive days, everything was peaceful. Jiang seemed to have disappeared, and he didn't come looking for trouble. Jiang used the essence of the moon spirit to train bitterly, researching the mysteries of the great emperor's lightning seal. With enough resources, his progress was rapid. Moreover, the meditation and exercise of the great emperor's lightning seal consumed a lot of nutrients. Jiang almost used 2 bottles of essence of the moon spirit every day. However, he didn't see Dahe the cat in the park, and he didn't know what it was doing. He used the chip to contact it, but it didn't reply. Jiang was a little worried, but he was deeply immersed in the lightning technique, and his mind was completely out of it. He crazily cultivated the great emperor's lightning seal and searched the internet for the mysteries of various lightning techniques. 10 days of training also made his hypnosis skills improve by leaps and bounds. In the security company, he was facing a client, a middle-aged man with a firm gaze and iron will. He was clearly a soldier. This kind of person was the hardest to hypnotize, and many beginner hypnotists failed to hypnotize him. But when Jiang opened his mouth, rumble, the entire room was filled with a rumbling of thunder, causing the crystal glass windows to shake violently. The soldier immediately fainted, and his face turned red, as if his body's potential had been stimulated. Jiang went up and caressed the soldier's head. The soldier peacefully fell into a deep sleep. Beep, beep, beep. The sleep testing machine began its test. Deep sleep, 150 points. Next, Jiang sat still and continued to hypnotize. Another client came in. He opened his eyes, and his body trembled. Crackling sounds of thunder came from his joints. The client didn't even have time to react before he collapsed. Next one. One hypnosis followed after another, and every client's sleep quality reached 150 points after being hypnotized. And Jiang hypnotized a total of 40 before stopping. 10 days ago, he could at most hypnotize 25 people a day. Now, he had actually increased it to 40. This couldn't be described as a sudden improvement, but as a monstrous one. His Spirit Emperor seal had 9 transformations, and the Thunder Seal's transformation was the fiercest and fiercest. Especially that sound, meditation could increase his thinking to the limit. At this moment, the Spirit Emperor seal revealed the power of a peerless martial art. Just one Thunder Seal was already so powerful. Then how powerful would a complete Spirit Emperor seal be? Jiang didn't dare to imagine. In the huge office, Chu Cece was watching a video, and it clearly showed Jiang Li's hypnosis. Gao Ren respectfully stood at the side. His face was filled with shock. Chief Chu, this Jiang Li is a monster. He actually hypnotized 40 people a day, and his hypnosis technique seems to be thunder technique. This is a forbidden technique, very difficult to cultivate, and the probability of becoming an idiot is very high. I will send a video of his hypnosis to my father. Chu Cece moved and sent the email out. About half an hour later, Chu Shan's figure appeared on the screen. This is the current Jiang Li? His cultivation is so fast. His thunder technique actually reached small success. I have never seen anyone train in thunder techniques so fast. Yes, father, Jiang Li's improvement is too fast. I believe that he will soon become a true intermediate hypnotist. Chu Cece analyzed. Training in thunder techniques is simply seeking instant benefits. The death rate is 90%. Chu Shan shook his head. How about this? Call him over. I will guide him step by step. The youngsters nowadays are truly fearless. Although they have seen through life and death, it does not mean that they are seeking death. Hypnotizing 40 people, earning 25600. Jiang Li rested for a while and consumed a bottle of moon spirit essence. Seeing the additional numbers in his account, he was secretly happy, but when he thought of Sun and Moon Group, Jiang, his heart immediately sank. His achievements were not worth mentioning to Sun and Moon Group. Jiang casual punch that day had a life force that far exceeded his. If not for the police arriving in time, he might have been beaten to death. He still had 7 bottles of moon spirit essence left, and the consumption was too great. It would be used up in a few days. Luckily, he had accumulated about 200,000 in these 10 days. But how was he going to purchase the moon spirit essence? He could not possibly purchase it from Sun and Moon Group in a black market. It was simply sending a sheep into the tiger's mouth. In Xinghua City, there were laws, and Jiang Lu did not dare to kill him openly. But in the black market, he could kill him as he wished without any repercussions. Ding dong, a mail was sent. It was from Sister Dao Chu Cece. It was still a few simple words. Jiangli, come to my office. Jiangli immediately got up and went to the office and saw Chu Shan's tall figure on the screen. Jiangli, you're training in thunder techniques? Chu Shan asked directly. Yes. Jiangli nodded. Recently, I've been researching the profoundness of thunder techniques. Do you know that you can't simply train in thunder techniques? The death rate is very high. Chu Shan reprimanded. You are one of the potential stocks of our security group. All right. Stop training in thunder techniques. Practice the lightning needle body tempering technique first. Wait until your nerves and body can withstand the stimulation. Then you can train in thunder techniques. Lightning needle body tempering technique? Jiangli was stunned. Youngsters nowadays are really... Chu Shan shook his head, and suddenly, a naked man appeared on the screen. His body was covered with silver needles, and those silver needles were special, carrying electric current. This set of electric current stimulation technique was passed down from the elite area. Chu Shan's tone was solemn. Star Sky University has this training method. It is classified as a secret technique developed by human body experts, neuroscientists, martial arts grandmasters, and spiritual masters. They used a method called lightning needle body tempering technique from the ancient martial arts world as a reference. The body is covered with silver needles, and after electrifying, the nerves and body will be stimulated by the electric current, forcing out the potential, tempering the body, and at the same time, familiarizing your nerves with the characteristics of the electric current, preparing to train in thunder techniques. However, this lightning needle body tempering technique is very painful. Once electrified, a few milliamperes of electric current can cause a strong soldier to bite his own tongue. This pain is 100 times more painful than a woman giving birth. If you can withstand it, then you're qualified to train in thunder techniques. Chapter 64. Inside the room, Jiangli was naked from head to toe, revealing his powerful muscles and bones. Recently, his height had increased by leaps and bounds. He had actually grown to 9 meters. He took out a set of silver needles, identified the acupuncture points, and slowly pierced them into his body. Not long after, his entire body was densely covered with silver needles, and a numb and itchy feeling arose. So itchy, I really want to pull out these needles. Jiang Li's teeth were chattering. The feeling of his body being pierced like a hedgehog without electricity was already very uncomfortable. Fortunately, his mind was firm and his endurance was strong. After the last military training where a long sword pierced through his chest, he had matured a lot. Just a little meditation of the furnace heart ape technique was enough to turn the pain in his heart into a violent ape, and he used the furnace fire to refine it. There seemed to be a golden Dan shining between his eyebrows. Turn on the electricity. The button was pressed. Z, Z, Z. Z, Z, Z. The silver needles were flickering with electricity. Ah! In that instant, Jiangli felt as if he was being sliced by 1,000 blades. The intense pain almost caused him to faint, but he didn't. He could clearly feel that every acupuncture point in his body was being fiercely cut by a small knife. So painful. He gritted his teeth until they bled, and the sound of metal creaking could be heard. All the muscles in his body were contracting, and he almost wanted to jump, but he held on, knowing that if he jumped, all his previous efforts would be wasted. Only by sitting still, with the silver needles still in place, enduring the pain, and using his strong spirit to feel the electricity in his neurons, slowly familiarizing himself with the characteristics of electricity and having a kind of understanding of thunder and lightning, could he practice thunder techniques. Father, how long do you think Jiangli can endure? On the big screen outside, Chu Cece was observing the changes in Jiangli. Although Jiangli was naked, she did not care at all. She was expressionless and very indifferent. At the same time, Chu Shan was carefully observing Jiangli on the big screen. Many experts, when they come into contact with this thunder needle body refinement technique for the first time, will faint within a minute, and their hearts will twitch. I wonder how long he can last. Chu Shan was very curious. Jiangli was in more and more pain. At the moment when the electricity was switched on, he was in excruciating pain. But as time passed, he felt as if millions of ants were biting his body, causing him to have the urge to scream. This kind of physical pain was added to the soul. It was simply hysterical. The kind of painful and itchy feeling was enough to make people want to bite off pieces of flesh from their bodies. Endure the pain. Jiangli sat upright without moving. He knew that this was training. If he couldn't even endure this bit of pain, how could he accomplish great things? Asceticism is the best way to train one's mind. Back then, Shakyamuni was also an ascetic. In the end, his ascetic body couldn't take it anymore. He met a young girl who was a shepherd and gave him goat's milk. Only after drinking it did he have the strength to meditate under the Bodhi tree. He was enlightened and became divine. Chu Cece licked her lips. She saw Jiang Li's whole body trembling in the video. He seemed to feel the same way. She had also practiced the lightning needle body refining technique. Brain of the universe, great emperor, lightning seal. In the intense pain, to distract himself, Jiang Li finally started to meditate on the great emperor lightning seal. Rumble. In the depths of his mind, countless lightning bolts appeared again. His hands made different movements, steady, fast, and unyielding. Slowly, the pain lessened. He felt that the electricity on the silver needles had merged with the lightning in his mind. He persevered. His mind became clearer and sharper. His soul seemed to be absorbing the power of the electricity and gradually grew stronger. The lightning meditation in his mind also became faster. His hair was the same as Gu Xiong's day. What happened? He's not in pain? Chu Cece could see Jiang Li's reaction. Huh? What kind of lightning technique is this? I've never seen it before. Chu Shan couldn't understand either, because the great Emperor Lightning Seal only had hand seals. There was no meditation or voice. It was just a fitness exercise. I don't know where he learned this messy martial art. Maybe he learned it from the internet. Chu Cece shook her head and continued to observe. Jiang Li was in a completely peaceful state. The pain from his silver needles did not affect him at all. After a full 5 minutes, the electricity flickered. It seemed like the energy on the needles had been depleted and needed to be recharged again. Jiang Li's body trembled. The silver needles fell to the ground. He opened his eyes. They were as bright as lightning. He felt that his cultivation had increased by another level. His understanding of the great Emperor Lightning Seal had deepened. At the same time, his body trembled slightly. Crackling sounds could be heard. His muscles, nerves, and blood vessels had been trained well under the stimulation of the electricity. Hungry. He then felt a wave of hunger. He quickly took out the moon spirit essence and consumed it. 1 bottle, 2 bottles, 5 bottles. After consuming 5 bottles, he finally stopped. Moonlight seeped out his pores. As he breathed, the moonlight entered and exited his body. Normally, a powerhouse with a vitality of 1 would only need to take 1 drop of moon spirit essence a day. Any more, and they would have excess nutrition. Jiang Li was currently drinking 50 days' worth of moon spirit essence, which was barely enough to provide him with enough nutrition. Clap, clap, clap. When Jiang Li wore his clothes and walked out of the room, Chu Shan applauded. Jiang Li, you are truly a genius. You are worth nurturing. I truly want to see how far you can grow. There's no more moon spirit essence. Jiang Li smiled bitterly. He only had 2 bottles left. If he continued to practice the lightning needle body refinement technique, it would not be enough for a day. During the process of cultivation, he realized that the lightning needle body refinement technique was indeed very helpful to the cultivation of the Great Emperor Lightning Seal. The Great Emperor Lightning Seal was the most profound lightning technique. It was hard to comprehend. However, The lightning needle body refinement technique could help him familiarize himself with the electricity and finally comprehend the lightning. Then I'm sorry. The Sun and Moon Corporation has already stopped supplying us with moon spirit essence. Chu Shan shook his head. We have to think of a way to break the Sun and Moon Corporation's blockade. Damn it. Jiang Li cursed in his heart. He thought of Jiang Lu and Gu Xiong's arrogant expressions. If he wanted to continue cultivating, he would need enough resources. Don't tell me I have to go to the black market again? Jiang Li thought. No, it's not safe. The Sun and Moon Corporation will definitely be watching me. Although I'm not afraid, it's better not to do something like this. He had seen the killing power of the Zhongwu mech. If this thing rushed over, no hypnosis could stop it. It would be torn apart. Night. In the black market of Suhua City, a Dahe cat walked in the darkness. Its speed was as fast as the wind. With a slight movement, one couldn't even see its shadow. In the darkness, it moved like a ghost. In a dark alley, a few men ran quickly. Each of them had a gun. They had just come out from the headquarters of the Sun and Moon Corporation and bought medicine. This is great. The Sun and Moon Corporation caused the price of moon spirit essence to drop. We can all afford it now. Let's go back and drink it. We'll get hypnotists to hypnotize us. If this continues, we can also become famous. Haha, after we become strong, we'll make a name for ourselves. The person we robbed today is really rich. He actually brought more than 100,000 to the black market. He's really daring. The few men had a vitality of 0. 8 to 0. 9. With their guns, there were very few people who could rob them. But just as they entered the dark alley, a Dahe cat came out and let out a meow. Immediately, the few men swayed left and right. They were instantly hypnotized. The Dahe cat walked to their side and searched. Soon, it found a few bottles of moon spirit essence. It drank one bottle first, then entered a crack in the wall where people couldn't reach and began to meditate. A few hours later, it suddenly opened its eyes. Both of its eyes were bright. It stored the rest of the moon spirit essence. Just like that, the Dahe cat did the same thing every day. It became stronger day by day. It walked in the black market, hypnotized the robbers, obtained nutrient fluids, pills, and moon spirit essence. During the day, it hid in the cracks in the wall to cultivate and open its optical computer to learn. 10 days passed. The Dahe cat's body underwent a qualitative change. It was strong and agile. Its roar was like thunder. Its claws could leave deep grooves in the wall. At the same time, its vocal cords also changed. Its tone became more and more varied. Finally, during one of its cultivation sessions, it suddenly spoke Jiang Li. Finally, it transformed and learned the human language. The large amount of moon spirit essence caused its vocal cords to change, and it had more language learning abilities. It was another night. The Dahe cat once again came out from the crack in the wall to hunt. This time, its target was a strong man with vitality of one who rushed out from the Sun and Moon conglomerate. As soon as this strong man appeared, his figure flashed quickly. He used his gun to kill a few robbers who were spying on him and quickly left. The Dahe cat quietly followed behind him, not letting this strong man notice it at all. The strong man reached an empty alley. The Dahe cat blocked the way and appeared in front of him. Damn, scared me. So it's a cat. The strong man took out his gun and was about to shoot. When he saw clearly that it was a Dahe cat, he couldn't help but spit. Sleep, sleep. The Dahe cat actually spoke the human language. Its tone was like water, carrying with it a dreamy magic. Are you very tired? You haven't rested for a long time. Yes, yes. This strong man couldn't resist the Dahe cat's hypnosis. He was in a deep sleep state, but he was no match for the Dahe cat. Thump! He fell to the ground head first. The Dahe cat searched its body and found a few bottles of moon spirit essence. It drank a bottle in one gulp and said to itself, "It seems that my cells have been modified. Their ability to absorb nutrients has greatly increased." Then it looked at the unconscious strong man. "How much money do you have in your account?" 100,000. The strong man said in a daze. "Very good. Get up and transfer the money to this account." The Dahe cat gave a series of account numbers. It was actually Jiang Li's. I'll transfer it. Under the powerful hypnosis of the Dahe cat, this strong man obeyed. He took out his chip, entered the password, and automatically transferred the money. Ding dong. Late at night, Jiang Li, who was cultivating, suddenly woke up. He found that his account had inexplicably increased by 100,000 star dollars. What happened? Who transferred the money to me? He was puzzled. He quickly checked the source of the account, but found that it was a person he didn't know. Moreover, the place where the money was transferred was from the black market in Suhua City. A windfall from the sky? Jiang Li couldn't believe it. Ding dong. An email was sent, and the figure of the Dahe cat appeared. It actually spoke the human language. Jiang Li, I hypnotized someone to transfer this money to you. Don't panic. What? Jiang Li almost jumped up. Chapter 65. In the video, Dahe the cat spoke very vividly. Other than its body being that of a cat, its soul, thoughts, actions, and words were all like a living human. Also, I hid 20 bottles of moon spirit essence deep inside an abandoned building. I drank all of them. Quickly sent someone to retrieve them. Dahe continued, now that my cultivation has improved by leaps and bounds, this black market is really a treasure land. There are riches and treasures everywhere. All right, use the remaining moon spirit essence to cultivate the flower mask king, Demeng, and the rest. Let them cultivate and come to the black market. Also, you can use the moon spirit essence yourself. Now that your cultivation is successful, you need nourishment the most. Ding dong. A set of coordinates was sent over. It was a corner of an abandoned building where 20 bottles of moon spirit essence were buried. Dahe was like an emissary from hell. Every time he went out at night, he would get 3 to 5 bottles of moon spirit essence. If it was in the past, Suhua City's black market would not have allowed him to get so much. But now that the price of sun and moon spirit essence had plummeted, millions of people poured into the black market every day, causing it to be crowded. This increased Dahe's chances by 100-fold. Dahe, you're really amazing. You're practically a real-life version of Doraemon. Jiang Li sent an email over and chatted with Dahe. Huh, Dahe the cat giggled. Jiang Li, when I return from the black market, I'll spar with you. I hope you won't be hypnotized by me. I think my hypnosis skills are no worse than yours. Okay, Jiang Li nodded. Be careful. If there's a chance, ask more of the Sun Moon Group secrets. I'll get someone from a security company to retrieve the moon spirit essence. Ding dong. He sent an email to Gao Run, reporting his coordinates. With the security company's strength, after operating in the black market for so many years, this was a piece of cake. About 3 hours later, Gao Ren sent an email with a surprised expression. Brother Jiang Li, we found 20 bottles of moon spirit essence according to your coordinates. How'd you do it? That's the secret. Jiang Li smiled. He was worried that he didn't have enough resources for cultivation. Now that Dahe was active in the black market, it was like a moving treasure trove. If Flower Mask King, Demeng, and Air Meng went and formed an army of cats, how powerful would that be? While I'm cultivating, I have to teach Flower Mask King and learn more things. While I can give them a moon essence, of moon spirit essence every day, their cultivation will soar. Following that, Jiang Li started to cultivate even more diligently. Other than hypnotizing clients every day, he also cultivated the lightning needle body tempering technique and consumed the moon spirit essence. Occasionally, Chu Shan would explain some of the profoundness of lightning techniques to him through videos. Under the effect of the thunder needle body refining technique, his mind was comprehending more and more of the mysteries of lightning and thunder, and his body was getting used to the stimulation of the electric current. Every time he refined his body, although it was extremely painful, he didn't care at all. He was safe and sound, motionless like a bodhisattva. His spirit seemed to have absorbed the energy of the electric current, causing his cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds. In the evening, he cultivated the Flower Mask King and the 5 cute kittens. He taught them in their dreams and gave them a drop of moon spirit essence every day because they could only bear so much nutrition or their organs would fail. They were also beginning to have the ability to hypnotize others. Originally, Jiang Li wanted them to cultivate for a while more before going, but Dahe kept urging them, so Zhongli had no choice but to let them board the train to the black market. However, Cat's ability to survive in the black market was stronger than people's. Once they went into many corners, people would never be able to find them in their lifetime. Who would care about a group of stray cats? In particular, stray cats had powerful hypnotic abilities. According to Dahei's cultivation speed, it is very likely that he will surpass me and reach the realm of meditation, becoming an intermediate hypnotist. Zhongli thought. With the speed of human cultivation, it was impossible to speculate about cats. What was a monster? Dahei was an authentic monster. Cultivation, naturally, could not be described with common sense. Security group. Shu Cece was listening to Gao Ren's report. You mean, every 2 days, Zhongli will ask you to go to a place in the black market to pick up goods? All of them are moon spirit essence? Yes, he has taken 3 bottles in the past few days. The first time was 20 bottles, the second time was 7 bottles, and the third time was 10 bottles. Gao Ren answered truthfully, I don't know why. Does he have other forces in the black market? I don't understand. Shu Cece could only shake her head. Now the number of people Zhongli has hypnotized every day has reached 50. Who would believe it? Is he still a primary hypnotist? What is he doing after hypnosis today? He is practicing in our sports room. He is full of energy. I think he can still carry out hypnosis. Gao Ren replied. Beep. Shu Cece clicked on a monitor. In the depths of the huge sports room, Zhongli was hitting a big iron ball fiercely, one palm after another, like the thunder in the sky, roaring forever. Every time he hit the iron ball, a number appeared on the optical computer. 2 tons. This number was very accurate. Even the decimal point did not fluctuate. All of them were 2 tons. Zhongli hit 100 times in a row. His body flashed and rushed forward. He was abnormally strong. His whole body moved. His muscles and bones sounded at the same time. Every time he hit, there was an unparalleled, ferocious aura and wind. He showed his precise control of power. The power of each punch was equivalent to that kind of precision machine. It did not even exceed or decrease 1 kilogram. This was the most terrifying. Although it was important to have great power, it was more important to have precise control and not waste a little. Amazing. The power of each punch is 2 tons. Shu Cece walked into the sports room, and her face was full of surprise. Strength is secondary. It's the control of strength that's amazing. Now that you have more and more precise control of your physical body, it means that your brain and limbs have begun to coordinate like a precise instrument. This kind of control and your strength when used in combat is too terrifying. I'm still far from it. Zhongli remembered the power of Zhonglu that day. Zhonglu's vitality was still above his. He had to continue to work hard and train harder. Tomorrow is the first day of school. At that time, the first test is to test your vitality. Let me see how much you can reach. Shu Cece was quite looking forward to it. Teacher, how much is the villa next to the White Dragon River? There are those that have been renovated. It's about 1,000 square meters. Zhongli urgently needed a good villa to settle his parents and sister in. Currently, the most luxurious villa in the entire Xinghua city was located beside the Bailong River. Once one lived in this kind of villa, it would be very difficult for outsiders to come in. They would need to go through many levels of notification, and everything was fully automated. It was also difficult for Jianglu to go in. After all, this was a legal society. They could not make things big. If they forced their way in, the people living in the villa next to the White Dragon River were all government officials. If they spread the news to the world, not to mention Jianglu, even Zhang Zhenyue would not be able to bear the consequences. He already had 1 million star dollars on his card. These days, with his own hypnosis and Dahei's daily large transfer, the number on his bank card was rising. His parents didn't need to go to work. They could rest at home, safe and sound. You want to buy a villa? Shu Cece thought for a moment. The villa next to the White Dragon River is good. I invested in 2 in the early years. How about I sell you one? In any case, it has been renovated. You can move in at any time. How much? When Zhongli heard this, he was very happy. It saved him a lot of trouble. I bought it for 5 million. Now the price has doubled. It's about 3 million. Chu Cece calculated. Okay, I'll give you 1 million as a deposit first. The rest will be paid in 2 months. How about it? Zhongli did not bargain and immediately said. Now he could earn a net income of 32,000 every day through hypnosis. In addition, Dahe was active in the black market every day. Sometimes he would transfer more than 100,000, sometimes 70 to 80,000. In this way, he could earn more than 100,000 every day, close to 200,000. In 1 month, he could pay off the debt of buying the villa. Okay. Chu Cece nodded. I'll give you the house chip now. Apply for the transfer on the optical computer. Immediately, the procedures were done quickly. Everything was done on the optical computer. It was done in a few minutes. Ding dong. Zhongli transferred 1 million. There were only tens of thousands of star dollars left in his account. However, in the next moment, there was a sudden sound. A message popped up on the chip. Your account has completed a transaction. The amount is 123,502 star dollars. Chu Cece seemed to have discovered a secret. Who transferred you 120,000? Little secret, little secret. Zhongli kept it. Of course, he couldn't tell Chu Cece the truth. He could say that Dahe the cat hypnotized someone to transfer the money. Come, this is the villa's chip. I've entered your identity. You can use this chip to open the door and enter the villa. After receiving the money, Chu Cece handed a chip to Zhongli. In my villa, there are training rooms and sports rooms. Remember, you still owe me 2 million. Pay it off as soon as possible. Seeing that Zhongli suddenly had 120,000 in his card, Chu Cece didn't doubt his ability to repay. No problem. Zhongli kept the chip and quickly went home to inform his parents to move. Brother, you actually bought a villa by the White Dragon River. That's the most expensive villa in Star City. It costs a few million. Other than those billionaires who buy mountains in the suburbs, all the government officials live there. Jiang Xian jumped 3 feet high. A villa by the White Dragon River? How much is that worth? Jiang Zhendong was shocked. Where did you get the money? Mom, Dad, sister, let's move in first. It's safer there. At least, there won't be any incidents of people breaking in. Jiang Li urged. The sooner the better. If that's the case, then let's move now. Mother quickly said. Yes, let's move now. Sister jumped up. I want to live in a villa. Oh, the furniture there is complete. You can move in directly. Jiang Li said, I don't want anything in the house. It's empty. Immediately, the family took a car to the villa by the White Dragon River. This villa was very large. It was surrounded by tall walls. There were retired soldiers patrolling the walls in flying cars. There was surveillance equipment everywhere. The villas were very large. They had their own garden, swimming pool, and beach. Jiang Li and his family walked to the door. With a swipe of the chip, the alloy door slowly opened. The AI on it checked the information. Chapter 66. Wow! Walking in, his little sister exclaimed. Inside the district was a huge park with rockery, running water, fountains, plazas, pavilions, white cranes, swans, and many fishes swimming in the deep pool. The entire district's air environment was different. There seemed to be a special purifying equipment, as there was not a single speck of dust. Jiang Li's keen senses told him that there were no mosquitoes or bugs in the bushes of the entire district. Even deep in the soil and in the sewers, there were no rats either. Everything was clean. Clearly, they had used some special method to drive away or kill those filthy things. The number of harmful bacteria in the entire district was 10 times less than outside. Living in this district would definitely increase one's lifespan by 10 years. This district is really good. Jiang Zhendong nodded. The family slowly toured and soon arrived in front of the villa. Jiang Xian snatched the chip from Jiang Li's hand and swiped the door open. Immediately, she was in high spirits. The entire villa was a 5-story building. The material was not reinforced concrete, but a type of polymer synthetic material. This material could transmit light, causing the entire house to have no dark corners. However, people outside would not be able to see inside at all. It could even absorb some wavelengths, making it impossible for people outside to peep and probe. The interior of the villa was very luxurious. Everywhere revealed a sci-fi atmosphere, especially the living room. When the door was pushed open, there was a huge beach. The beach was white and spotless. Then, a huge river rolled forward. The river was clear, and many fishes could be seen swimming around. There were even crabs burrowing on the beach. It was full of vitality. There was not a single bit of garbage in the river. It was like a piece of green, making people feel relaxed and happy. So cool. I want this room. Jiang Xian quickly snatched a large room by the river upstairs. She laughed happily and enjoyed the joy, completely forgetting about her worries. And Jiangli nodded. Dad, Mom, send an email to brother. When he finishes his military training, he can come here directly. Okay. His little sister lay on the large sofa, not wanting to move at all. The large sofa was made from the skin of a rare space beast called Cloud Beast. Lying on it was like lying in the clouds. It was good for sleep, and the smell secreted from it could relieve fatigue. A piece of Cloud Beast skin cost tens of thousands of star dollars. The decorations here were all high-end goods. Thus, the family settled down. Jiangli brought all the cats, big and small, into the courtyard of the villa. Immediately, the courtyard became lively. These cats were rolling up and down, climbing up and down, full of vitality and cuteness. He was now going to activate the intelligence of the other cats and send them to Dahe. Dahe needed more cats to go to the black market. Dahe now transferred money to Jiang Li every day. Then, every 2 days, he would get someone from the security company to pick up the moon spirit essence at a designated location. It was simply a lucky cat. No, it was the god of fortune. At night, Jiang Li's account rang again. Your account has received a transfer of 828 star dollars. You have received a transfer of 3,473 star dollars. Your account has received a transfer of 14,580 star dollars. You have received a transfer of 87,463 star dollars to your account. In one night, his account received a huge sum of more than 200,000 star dollars. He sent an email to Dahe. Dahe, be careful. Don't do it too frequently. It would be bad if it attracted the attention of people with ulterior motives. It's okay. I just hypnotized an expert and actually found a bottle of sunlight essence on him. After drinking it and cultivating for a long time, my body became much stronger. It seems that I will be able to enter a meditative state soon. Dahe immediately replied. Flower masking has also reached the 3rd stage of deep sleep. The 5 Xiaoming are also improving very quickly. We don't have to worry about food or drink here. We eat high-grade supplements every day. Sunlight essence was more violent than moon spirit essence. It was very difficult to control one's body and emotions after taking it. But with Dahe's cultivation, it could safely take it. Those who went to the black market all brought their own high-grade nutrient fluids because no one dared to eat in the restaurants of the black market. This made it easy for Dahe the cat. He could easily hypnotize a criminal and obtain a lot of resources. It was heaven for cats. Roar, roar. We cats will unify the black market. Jiangli, you have to unlock the intelligence of the other cats and send them over. Dahe repeatedly said, I will pay for your cultivation resources. I want to nurture you into a human powerhouse. Roar, roar. Jiangli didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But recently, he had indeed benefited too much from Dahe. It was not in vain that he helped him unlock intelligence. It could be said that with Dahe's help, the resources he had were even more than Ouyangxing. Taking 5 bottles of moon spirit essence every day was worth 350,000 star dollars. Ouyangxing's monthly consumption of resources was about this amount. And if this went on, wouldn't he have an income of over 1 million star dollars a month? Sun and Moon Corporation, Jiangli thought. Although your power is great, I have also started to nurture my own power. The cat army is more reliable than humans. I also have to speed up my cultivation and not let Dahe overtake me. Right. When will I pass the meditation of the brain of the universe to Dahe? Dahe will be even more invincible when he hypnotizes people. Also, Dahe saw the Dream Heart Sutra before me and is qualified to receive the teachings of the brain of the universe. Boom! Jiangli jumped up and sent an email to Dahe. telling it to come back quickly. And he entered the sports room of the villa to cultivate. Zhongli had recently cultivated the lightning needle body refinement technique, which used electric current to stimulate the nerves and cultivated the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal. The combination of the two complemented each other. The Great Emperor's Thunder Seal was becoming more and more powerful. When he attacked, the moves were forceful and invincible. Every strike caused the air to vibrate in his stomach and lower abdomen, bringing with it the rumbling of thunder. At this moment, Zhongli truly felt the existence of qi. When he moved, every inch of his joints, muscles, and internal organs were vibrating with resonance. It was as if he was communicating with the ancient qi. His hands moved like lightning, and every strike was swift, fierce, valiant, and filled with a fierce, hot-blooded, and exciting aura. Rumble. He once again cultivated the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal in the sports room. With a little force, he jumped 20 meters and hit the steel plate with his palm. The steel plate made a cracking sound and actually broke into pieces. His arm shook and swept across another steel plate. That steel plate also made a rumbling sound. It cracked inch by inch and then sputtered. He was simply a human-shaped destruction machine. Other martial arts, even the B-class martial arts, Ghost God Fist, were pitifully weak compared to the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal. If Zhongli fought with blood feud now, he wouldn't be injured at all. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels would be completely shattered by the seal. Ding dong. At this moment, Zhongli had finished training in the lightning seal of the Great Emperor. His body was drenched in sweat, and he took a hot bath. As he sat cross-legged to recover his strength, the AI chip sent another message. It was from the cat Dahe. Zhongli, I'm already at the park. Come quickly. Zhongli immediately moved and came to the park under the cover of the night. It was late at night. In the depths of the bushes, a dark cat with green eyes was staring at him. It was the familiar Dahe. However, Dahe had changed a lot. Zhongli could feel the strong, explosive power in its body as soon as he moved his spiritual energy. Just based on physical strength, even a master with 1 vitality was not its opponent. Zhongli, you've become stronger. Dahe spoke the human language. You become stronger too, Dahe. Zhongli nodded. He saw Dahe jump up and land on his shoulder. Dahe's body had become much heavier. It was now at least 50 kilograms. However, its body did not grow much. It was obvious that its density had increased. Zhongli, why did you call me back? Dahe asked. I'll teach you a deeper cultivation technique. It's left behind by the sewer mummy. Zhongli put Dahe down and sat cross-legged. He looked serious. My family is facing an unprecedented crisis. You're my hidden brother. Okay. Dahe was the first to find the sewer mummy. It naturally knew that it was an earth-shattering existence. Let's meet in our dreams. Zhongli and Dahe both entered a deep sleep. They instantly entered a dream. In the dream, Zhongli told Dahe everything that had happened in his family. Then, he taught Dahe the cultivation technique of the brain of the universe and the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal. An hour later, both of them stopped. Dahe's cat eyes flashed. The meditation technique of the brain of the universe is indeed powerful. It's an ancient and mystical technique. The Great Emperor's Thunder Seal is only useful to me through meditation and sound. I can cultivate the hand seal. However, with this meditation technique, my spirit power will increase by another level. Go, my brother. Zhongli patted Dahe's head. We met the sewer mummy together. This is fate. Remember, only the two of us know about this. We can't tell anyone else. Otherwise, we'll both be in big trouble. This is an earth-shattering event. Indeed, we can't tell anyone else. Dahe knew how powerful it was. It was the first to discover the mummy. At that time, it didn't have intelligence and didn't know how powerful it was. Now that it had the intelligence of an adult, it was deeply afraid. Watching Dahe the cat scuttle into the bushes and disappear into the distance, Zhongli looked at the sky. It was beginning to turn white. The night had passed, and dawn had arrived. It was a new day. Today was the first day of school. The last semester of year 3 had finally begun. He clenched his fists and walked to school. I wonder how high my vitality will be after this test. Hi. Jiangli, I heard that you've become the chief hypnotist of the security company. You're already very famous? As soon as he arrived at school, he saw Luohan and Serene. They seemed to be discussing something. How did the two of them become best friends? Getting better and better? Jiangli found it strange. The two of them were usually at odds with each other. It's just earning some money. It's not worth mentioning. It's not worth mentioning. At this time, the students of the top class all walked into the classroom. Jiangli saw that everyone had arrived, but he didn't see Zheng Wenbing, Yang Wu, or Zhang Yu. He couldn't help but sneer. The three of them had already gone bankrupt and couldn't afford the fees for the top class. He was a student with vitality of 1, so the top class was free. However, Zheng Wenbing and the other two weren't. During the holidays, Jiangli discovered that the cultivation of the students in his class had skyrocketed. It seemed that everyone was doing their best to improve. Look, Ouyang Xing is here. After a commotion, the number 1 person in the school, Ouyang Xing, finally walked into the classroom. Chapter 67. What a strong aura. Could it be that Ouyang Xing's vitality has reached 1? 2? No, it must be even stronger. During the last exam, his vitality was already 1. 1. After military training and holiday, his strength definitely wouldn't have increased by just 0. 1. Also, I heard that in order to nurture him, the board of directors agreed to take out 10 million as his training fee. Oh right, the price of the moon's spirit essence has fallen recently. This has allowed Ouyang Xing to obtain more resources. If the price of the moon's spirit essence has fallen, how many experts will appear? Even if the price has fallen, ordinary rich people won't be able to enjoy it. The ones who benefit are still the rich. Ouyang Xing walked out from the door. The students dispersed because his aura was extremely strong. He was like a demon god. When people stood in front of him, they would feel a strong pressure on their hearts. They would feel short of breath. His shoulders were very broad, as if he could support a mountain. His eyes occasionally flashed, revealing a threatening aura. Jiangli watched coldly. Not long later, the 47 students in the class gathered. The principal also appeared. Students, after a holiday, I can see that you have become much stronger. However, you still can't relax. This is the last semester sprint. Don't say anything unnecessary. Now, let's start the entrance exam to test your vitality. Ouyang Xing, you go first. Be an example for everyone. Yes. Ouyang Xing's aura was ice cold. He directly walked in front of the optical computer and started answering questions. The questions for this entrance exam were much fewer than the previous one. It was only about 1/10 of the previous one. However, the questions were very difficult. This time, it was purely to train one's thinking ability. However, Ouyang Xing answered all of them in 20 minutes. Full marks. After that, he entered the fist strength test, running test, and various other physical exercises. He was as fast as the wind and finished all of them within 10 minutes. Finally, he entered the martial arts master system to battle. Ding dong. An hour of testing passed. The optical computer faithfully displayed the vitality numbers. Ouyang Xing, vitality 1. 3. Rumble. A look of disbelief appeared on the principal's face. Vitality actually reached 1. 3. In just a short holiday, it increased by 2 points? Amazing. A few teachers in charge of the school exclaimed. It seems that the success rate of him entering Star University is very high. Focus on nurturing him. The success rate must be 100%. A vitality of 1. 3 was too powerful. This wasn't something that could be achieved by accumulating supplements. It also required one's own talent. It must be known that once a vitality reached 1, it would be very difficult to increase it to the limit. When Luohan and Serene saw this result, their expressions changed. Ouyang Xing's improvement was too fast. He had already left them far behind. Next, every student began to take the test. An hour later, Serene and Luohan's vitality had reached 1. Apart from them, the other powerhouses who were originally at 1 vitality points had all risen to 1, just like them. There were also 5 students whose vitality had risen from 0, 9 to 1. It seemed like this was the result of the moon's spirit essence dropping in price. However, none of them managed to reach 1. The headmaster looked at the data and shook his head. This kind of estimation is reasonable. The price of the moon spirit essence has dropped greatly in the black market, and the rich can afford it. Life force has increased, but it has not increased by leaps and bounds. Yes, Starry Sky University's exams are getting more and more difficult every year. I wonder how difficult this year's exam will be. A teacher sighed. Suddenly, beep, 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 I sounded again. Jiang Li, Vitality 1. 3. What? Another one with 1. 3. Who is this? Jiang Li? The headmaster's body trembled. How is this possible? He was only a 1 student in the last exam. He increased by 3 points in 1 semester? Oh my God! What? Another student with a vitality of 1. 3. Jiang Li is so powerful. Luohan and Serene looked at each other. They could see the shock in each other's eyes. Although they knew that Jiang Li was strong, it was still outrageous for him to be this strong. Oh! At this moment, Ouyang Xing's eyes lit up. He looked at the numbers on the I, and licked his lips. He didn't believe that there was anyone in the school who could compete with him. During the holidays, he was sent to the army by his family and underwent hellish training. Finally, his vitality increased to 1. 3. He didn't expect someone to reach this number. Jiang Li. Before the headmaster and the others could react, he took a step forward and appeared in front of Jiang Li. Ouyang Xing, what do you think? Jiang Li smiled. You also have a vitality of 1. 3, not bad. Ouyang Xing's tone suddenly became very calm. However, I have to tell you that you won't be able to keep up with me. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire sports room shook. Ouyang Xing's footsteps flickered. He suddenly appeared beside Jiang Li and punched out. Attacking without hesitation was Ouyang Xing's style. When he attacked, he was decisive and never gave others any leeway to think. He was a ruthless person. B-grade martial art, Ghost God Fist, appearing and disappearing like a ghost. There were many moves in the Ghost God Fist. The first move was Ghost God Appears, and appearing and disappearing like a ghost was the killer move. It was very powerful and focused on footwork. In a flash, it was like the name of the move, appearing and disappearing like a ghost. It didn't take more than 1 move to kill the enemy. In 1 move, it was an absolute attack. His fist tore through the air and actually created a splash effect. The air trembled and splashed in all directions like a stream of water. This was a phenomenon created when one's speed reached a certain limit and pierced through the air. Great Emperor's Thunder Seal. Jiang Li immediately knew that his opponent was sneaking an attack. His arm shook and the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal suddenly erupted. Both of their fists and palms collided. Kacha! Kacha! Consecutive loud sounds rang out. Jiang Li and Ouyang Xing finally clashed again. In between their fists, both of their bodies were filled with qi. Bang! Both of them separated. Jiang Li didn't move an inch while Ouyang Xing took 3 steps back. The difference in strength was obvious. Ouyang Xing's strength isn't as good as Jiang Li's. He's been repelled. Jiang Li actually has the upper hand. The surrounding people reacted and quickly gathered around to watch. This was a battle between 2 great experts. Whoever won would be the true number 1 person in the academy. Ouyang Xing would definitely not allow others to surpass him. He was the first to make a move. He originally wanted to put down Jiang Li's prestige, but he was forced to retreat. Ouyang Xing was repelled, and his face revealed a look of disbelief. His face was red, as if he had been humiliated. Being repelled by Jiang Li was the greatest humiliation in his life. He simply couldn't accept it. Ghost God Hell. Suddenly, Ouyang Xing directly entered the 3rd stage of deep sleep. His entire body was in a trance, and his strength was even stronger. Another punch came over. This time, the power of this punch was even greater. A gust of wind tore through the air and shot towards Jiang Li's head at lightning speed. He was risking his life. After entering the 3rd stage of deep sleep, Ouyang Xing's strength had increased by a lot. His moves, speed, damage, and reaction had all reached the peak. He didn't believe that he couldn't use his killing intent to fight against Jiang Li. He had killed before and deeply understood the art of fighting and killing. Those who block me shall die. I am number one. A low roar came from his body, like a beast in human form. You want to fight force with force? Bring it on. Jiang Li's eyes were calm, and he also entered the third stage of deep sleep. Dream God Force. He let out a long roar. All the chi in his body gushed out like a volcano erupting. He used all his strength. One after another, loud sounds of breathing could be heard coming from within. Thunderous fluctuations could be seen everywhere, and lightning could be seen spitting out mountains. The whole classroom was filled with wind and clouds. Everyone's ears seemed to hear thunder, causing their minds to go blank. Even Luohan, Serene, and some other experts had pale faces. Under Jiang Li's roar, they couldn't react at all, causing their minds to go blank. The other experts, with vitality of 0, 9 all sat on the ground and grabbed their heads tightly with both hands, covering their ears. But it was useless. That voice also contained hypnosis techniques. Thunder. A long syllable came out from Jiang Li's nose. His entire body was like a sonic tearing machine. Adding on his physical strength, he suddenly activated the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal with full power. Bang, bang, bang. He waved his arms. His hands behind his back were like spiders with 3 heads and 6 arms. He attacked Ouyang Xing fiercely like a storm. Ouyang Xing's aura was completely suppressed. Ghost God Fist defense was instantly broken by the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal. Thunder. Jiang Li's figure flashed and ruthlessly slammed his palm on Ouyang Xing's abdomen. Ouyang Xing's 1.9 meters body was sent flying and slammed into the wall. He couldn't catch his breath. His eyes rolled back and then he fainted. The Great Emperor's Thunder Seal is indeed powerful. Jiang Li exited the dream state. Looking at his hands, he was very pleased. He had never felt that his body could explode with such power. If he trained for a long time, it wouldn't be impossible for him to tear apart a mecha with his bare hands. 200 years ago, during the era of the country, martial arts were flourishing. But without resources, it was impossible to break through the limits of the body. But now it was different. Moreover, the explosive power of the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal was too strong. When the seal exploded, Ouyang Xing didn't even have a chance to fight back. He was completely defeated. Ouyang Xing lost. He lost so quickly. What was that? Was that thunder from Jiang Li? My mind went blank, and I thought I was brain dead. Could this be the legendary thunder art? 5 Thunder Palm? It's also a B-grade martial art. It's even stronger than the Ghost God Fist. Amazing. It's really amazing. Ouyang Xing was defeated just like that. It wasn't even possible for both sides to be injured. He was completely suppressed in terms of momentum. All the students looked at Jiang Li in a different light. The original fight between the two heroes was completely broken. Ouyang Xing was defeated. The situation became one-sided. With just a few punches and kicks, Ouyang Xing fainted. Why did you fight without permission? After the lightning-fast exchange, the teacher finally came back to his senses. Lazy Dragon was the first to attack. He took a step forward and walked in front of Ouyang Xing in an instant. He felt his pulse and heaved a sigh of relief. It's not a big deal. His blood and chi are not in harmony, and he's physically suffocating. He'll wake up after resting for a while. There aren't any injuries. Lazy Dragon then raised his head and looked at Jiang Li. You did it? That's right. He attacked suddenly. I didn't kill him because we're classmates. Otherwise, I could have pierced through his body. Jiang Li didn't care about Ouyang Xing at all. Chapter 68. Ouyang Xing, the number 1 person in the school with a vitality of 1.3, was like a rising star, but before he could shine, he was defeated by Jiang Li and lost all his face. Jiang Li suppressed everyone with his domineering aura. At this time, the principal and the person in charge of the school also came over. Lazy Dragon massaged Ouyang Xing's body twice. Ouyang Xing slowly woke up. As expected, he was not injured. Jiang Li's mastery of fist techniques was very high, and the power of each punch was precise. Amazing. To be able to hold back in a battle of this level, your strength is obviously higher than Ouyang Xing's. Lazy Dragon gave Jiang Li a thumbs up. He was telling the truth. At this time, The person in charge of the school and the principal were watching the video and found that it was indeed Ouyang Xing who made the first move. He used the Ghost God Fist and started the battle. The two clashed, and Jiang Li pushed Ouyang Xing back. Next, Ouyang Xing entered the third stage of deep sleep and attacked fiercely, but Jiang Li was even more fierce. With a long roar, the sound of thunder rumbled in his body, completely suppressing Ouyang Xing's aura. His body moved like lightning and directly broke Ouyang Xing's defense, sending him flying with a palm strike. The principal's eyes were sharp, and he could immediately see that Jiang Li's vitality was higher than Ouyang Xing's, and his combat skills were also better. Miracle! This is really a miracle. The principal looked at Jiang Li with admiration. Your strength has reached such a level. Our school will nurture you well. Tell me, what do you need? The school will try to satisfy you. I won't cause trouble for the school for now. Jiang Li knew that the school couldn't give him what he wanted, but he said something good first. When I need it, I will definitely report to the school. Today, after the vitality test, I will go back to work. If there is any training, just email me. Beep, beep, beep. At this time, the principal's chip vibrated and a message appeared on it. He was shocked when he saw the email, and it took him a while to recover. Students, today there will be a new student coming to our school. A new student directly into the top class. Who is this person? Many people were stunned for a moment. One must know that this important class was not something that could be casually entered. One must pass the examination, the school screening, and the Ministry of Education's approval to enter. Even the current billionaire of Star City could not enter this class. Jiang Li's heart jolted. He had a bad premonition. Woo woo woo. Sure enough, many flying cars appeared in the sky above the school and landed in a grand manner. Then, everyone saw a 17 or 18-year-old youth walk out of the largest car. Jiang Li's expression drastically changed. That's right, that youth was Jiang Liu. Each and every one of his movements had an aura 10 times stronger than Ouyang Xing's. He walked in front of the principal and glanced at him. Jiang Li could feel his disdain and killing intent. To him, this Jiang Liu was equivalent to looking at a very annoying reptile. He simply didn't look at him seriously. Hello, headmaster. He stepped forward and shook hands with the headmaster. I'm Jiang Liu from the Sun and Moon Corporation. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. The headmaster hurriedly clasped his hands. Although the other party was a transfer student, he was a member of the Sun and Moon Corporation's Jiang family. He was not someone that the headmaster could contend with. This time, our Sun and Moon Corporation came to Star City to invest, and I happen to be taking the entrance exam to Star City University. So, I came here to study. Headmaster, you won't object, right? Jiang Liu pulled out his hand and said, Welcome, you are very welcome. I heard that young Master Jiang Liu's vitality has reached 1.5. Getting into Star City University is a piece of cake. Our school can't even accept a peerless genius like you. The headmaster was very happy. Jiang Liu's entrance exam to Star City University was a matter of course. Now, Jiang Li and Ouyang Xing were two very promising seeds. In any case, if the school were to give him 3 places, it would definitely be his capital. I wonder who has the highest vitality in the school's top class. Jiang Liu asked. Oh, their life force is nothing compared to yours. The headmaster quickly said. Currently, the highest vitality in the school is 1.3. Jiang Li and Ouyang Xing. Oh, 1.3 vitality? The corner of Jiang Liu's mouth revealed a trace of a smile. It's rare to see such a student in a place like Star City. I want to see how it goes. Close. Jiang Li, Ouyang Xing, come up and meet the new student, Jiang Liu. The headmaster nodded and turned around. Ouyang Xing's eyes flickered. Just now, he was defeated by Jiang Li. He felt humiliated and wanted to take revenge, but the sudden appearance of Jiang Liu weakened his momentum a lot. Although the Ouyang family is big, they are only the richest family in Star City. Compared to the Sun and Moon Corporation, they are less than an ant. Jiang Liu didn't even look at him, but looked at Jiang Li. Your surname is also Jiang? His first sentence was very impolite. The surname Jiang is a great surname. I'm afraid you can't bear it. I suggest you change your name. As soon as this sentence came out, even the headmaster's face changed. No one expected Jianglu to be so impolite. Luohan and Shiren were furious. You don't need to worry about my surname. Could it be that only the Sun and Moon Corporation can have the surname Jiang? If you're so powerful, go and change the human law. Say that only the people of the Sun and Moon Corporation can have a surname Jiang. I will change my name immediately. Jiangli smiled coldly. Facing Jianglu's strength, he was not afraid at all. Although Jianglu's vitality was 1.5 and he was no match for him in terms of combat, it was hard to say when it came to hypnosis. Jianglu's state of mind was definitely not in a meditative state. As long as he was not in a meditative state, it would be very difficult for him to resist Jiang Li's hypnosis. He could even resist Gu Xiong's hypnosis. Jiang Lu's resources were very strong, but no resources could help him in his state of mind. Especially in a meditative state, he had to comprehend it himself. Jiang Li, aren't you going to work? Hurry up. The headmaster saw that the situation was not right and immediately shouted, Yes, headmaster. Jiang Li bowed and left. Jiang Lu's eyes flashed with killing intent. At this time, the headmaster said, Young Master Jiang Lu, let me show you around our school. You have just arrived, so you need to familiarize yourself with the environment. The headmaster's words were just right to prevent Jiang Lu from going berserk and hurting him. Jiang Lu frowned. Seeing that Jiang Li had already left, he knew that the principal was trying to resolve the situation. His eyes flashed with a hint of gloominess. At this time, a black-clothed man beside him whispered, Young master, don't make things too big. There will be plenty of opportunities to slaughter that little bastard. Go and keep an eye on this little bastard. Send someone to watch his every move. Jiang Lu ordered and then nodded to the headmaster. Since it's like this, I will take a look around the school. Jiang Li quickly left the school and returned to the security organization. On the entire Earth, the security organization was the local tyrant. Even if the Sun and Moon organization were to appear out of nowhere, they would not be able to crush the security organization. I'm still not strong enough. After arriving at the security organization, Jiang Li carried out his daily routine of hypnosis. This time, the number of hypnosis he performed was even higher, reaching to 60. His daily income had reached 38,400 yuan. In a month, he would be able to earn millions. In Xinghua City, this was already the highest salary. However, he now owed Chu Cc 2 million yuan. Fortunately, the Dahe cat was getting stronger and stronger. He was looking forward to what realm the Dahe cat would reach after going back and cultivating the universe brain. As long as I can meditate. After the hypnosis, Jiang Li consumed the moon spirit essence to recuperate and thought about how he could become stronger. After thinking about it, the only way to improve quickly was to enter the meditative state. After entering this state, he might be able to unlock the mysteries of the Dream Heart Sutra. At that time, he would be able to learn more moves of the Great Emperor Seal. At the same time, the meditation and hypnosis techniques of the universe brain would improve further. However, entering the meditative state was extremely difficult. To see through life and death, to understand that life was like a dream, what kind of mental state was this? Normally, only people who had experienced many changes in life could understand this. For example, Chu Shan and Gu Xiong were both old men. Then there's only one way, and that is to use the milky white stone again, forcefully using the embryonic breathing technique to train, but unfortunately, it will damage the cells. Jiang Li caressed the Dream Heart Sutra on his chest. However, if I have enough fruit of life, there won't be any damage when I train. Instead, my cells will become stronger and stronger. Unfortunately, the lowest price is 4 million per pill. His thoughts flashed, and he thought of the fastest way to improve. That was to eat the fruit of life and then train with embryonic breathing technique. This way, he would be able to improve by leaps and bounds in a short period of time. Today's test, your vitality was 1.3. You even defeated Ouyang Xing? At this time, Chu Cc came in. Yes. However, Sun and Moon Corporation's Jiang Lu has entered the school and become our new classmate. Jiang Li's tone was very normal. This person seems to be very arrogant. He can't tolerate others with the surname Jiang and want me to change my surname immediately? Ignore him. His hedonistic personality is just acting up. Chu Cece didn't know about the grudges between Jiang Lu and Jiang Li. She waved her hand. You have already hypnotized 60 people. Have you reached the limit? Probably not. Jiang Li shook his head and suddenly asked, how many Fruit of Life are there in the security organization? Fruit of Life? What do you want it for? Chu Cece was puzzled. Aren't your injuries completely healed? If you eat it again, it won't have any effect. The Fruit of Life is mainly used to heal injuries. If people who are not injured eat it, the medicine will be completely useless. Of course I have a use for it. Jiang Li said, I practice a forbidden technique that damages my cells. If I have the Fruit of Life, I can continue to practice it and unleash the strongest power in a short period of time. In this way, in less than a month, I can definitely hypnotize 100 customers every day. Hypnotize 100 customers every day? Are you sure? Chu Cece was shocked. If that's the case, as long as you have money, our security organization can get some for you. But the lowest price is 4 million each. And this is under the situation where our organization is not making money. Can you afford it? I can't. Jiang Li shook his head. I'm just asking. Does the Sun and Moon Corporation sell the Fruit of Life in the black market? Isn't that obvious? The Fruit of Life is a holy healing item. As long as you eat it, any injury can be alleviated and even healed. Even if the juice is smeared on the wound, it will immediately heal. Big shots always have some in reserve to prevent themselves from getting into trouble. Chu Cece said, That's good. Jiang Li's eyes flashed. Chapter 69. Dahe. Pay close attention to the Sun Moon Group's Fruit of Life. Jiang Li sent an email to Dahe. Also, Flower Mask King, how are Demeng and Air Meng's cultivation? They're cultivating very well. Now, each of them can hypnotize those gangsters. It's a pity that they can't be evaluated, or else they'd all be powerful beginner hypnotists. Flower Mask King can hypnotize 15 people a day. 5 Xiao Meng can hypnotize 10. They've been consuming moon essence every day, and I've already given up on it. I've switched to sun essence. How are the effects of consuming sun essence? Jiang Li looked at the mail. On the bottom floor of the abandoned building, there were 7 cats training. In the corner of the bottom floor, there were many medicines. There were nutrient fluids, snow marrow, moon essence, and even sun essence. Other than that, there were also some unknown medicines. The 7 cats had more resources than Jiang Li. Of course, their cultivation was fast. Moreover, each of them had an optical computer chip. They could search for information on the internet. With the internet in their hands, they knew everything in the world. The effect is very small. My body, cells, every inch of my bones, and veins have all grown. Don't worry, Dahe the cat said. Oh right, I intercepted 10 bottles of sun essence yesterday. I can't use them all, so I hid them somewhere else. Send someone to get them. That's great, Jiang Li said solemnly. Thank you, brother. I'm just lacking resources to cultivate now. There's no need to thank me. I was just a wild beast, muddle-headed. It was you who opened up my intelligence and gave me my current achievements. When I was lost, you came to help me. Now that you're in trouble, I'll help you. In this vast sea of suffering, we can only walk on if we support each other. Dahe the cat's tone was very ethereal. His spiritual cultivation seemed to have increased by a few levels. He actually had the aura of a holy figure. Jiang Li's heart skipped a beat. He knew that Dahe the cat wasn't far from entering meditation. I'll look for fruits of life for you. Wait for my good news. Dahe the cat communicated with Jiang Li for a while more, and then began to cultivate. Jiang Li immediately called Gao Run and asked him to collect the Sun Soul Essence. 5 hours later, 10 bottles of glaring light fell into his hands. Inside the Moon Spirit Essence bottle was a ball of moonlight. It was gentle and cool, giving off a feeling of loneliness at the top. The Sun Spirit Essence was a ball of fire that was about the size of soybean. It continuously flickered and emitted a brilliant fiery glow. Swallowing it would cause one to experience even more intense mental hallucinations. Jiangli took out a bottle and gulped it down. Immediately, he felt a ball of fire burning fiercely in his throat and stomach. Then it spread to every inch of his blood vessels, meridians, and even his brain. It was especially so for his brain. His nerves were stimulated, and he was so excited that he wanted to dance crazily. Once there was an ordinary person who took the sun spirit essence. He was so excited that he kept dancing and finally died from exhaustion. This thing was 100 times stronger than the mental hallucinations caused by the ecstasy pills from 200 years ago. However, Jiangli didn't dance. Instead, he sat down and entered a deep sleep. He used his own soul to subdue the mental stimulation and train his will. Gradually, he was in a peaceful state. After 30 minutes, he felt the medicinal power spread throughout his body. He immediately began to cultivate the great Emperor Thunder Seal. His whole body was like a tiger leaping and a wolf running. Every move he made was like a rolling thunder with great power. In this way, he once again immersed himself in cultivation. In a flash, half a month had passed since the start of school. Jiangli forgot everything else in his cultivation every day and didn't go to school. The school could no longer teach him anything. Moreover, it was to avoid conflict with Jianglu. He spent an hour in the morning to hypnotize his clients. Now, the number of people he hypnotized had reached 70. Every day, he could earn 44,800 star dollars. Then, during the day, he took this sun spirit essence and cultivated the lightning needle body refining technique before cultivating the great Emperor Thunder Seal. At night, he took the moon spirit essence and entered a deep sleep. He communicated with the cats at home in his dream and opened their wisdom. His parents also no longer went out to work. Instead, they stayed at home to recuperate. Jiangli also gave them tonics and then hypnotized them to rest. His sister also underwent various exercises and gradually became stronger. Unfortunately, his brother Jiang Tao's military training still hadn't ended and he still hadn't returned. In this half a month, after moving to the White Dragon River Villa district, there really wasn't any harassment. It was very quiet and relaxing. Ding dong! Jiangli transferred 2 million star dollars to Chu Cici's card. The money for buying the house was completely paid off. You got 2 million in just half a month. Chu Cici said in disbelief, even if you hypnotize yourself for 50,000 a day, it's impossible to get so much. Where did the money come from? Little secret. Jiangli smiled. In this half a month, he cultivated crazily and advanced by leaps and bounds. Alternately taking the sun and moon essence, his mind had a deeper understanding of the sun and moon. At night, he took the moon spirit essence and meditated to feel the mystery of the moon. His whole body felt cool. And during the day, he took the sun spirit essence and meditated to feel the magnificence of the sun, which gave power to all things. Forget it. You have too many secrets. Cultivate well. Right now, even my father can't give you any pointers. You have to comprehend everything on your own. Chu Cici said, meditate. You must meditate so that your strength can really advance by leaps and bounds. Otherwise, even if you take more tonics, it will be difficult to improve. I know. Jiangli nodded heavily. At the same time, on the outskirts of Starflower City, on a huge mountain, an arm-thick iron stake was broken by a kick. With a beautiful whirlwind kick, Jiang Lu kicked the broken iron stake deep into the wall. He attacked with his bare hands, and the destructive power was astonishing. His whole body was as sharp as a mecha. Young Master's physical strength has increased again. The old man Gu Xiong praised. Looks like it won't be long before it reaches 1. 6. This little bit of increase is not what I want. Jiang Lu punched again, causing the air to rumble. How can I meditate? I have been practicing the Void Demon God Slash for a long time, but I can't reach the state of meditation. What should I do? The method is very simple. You can kill whoever makes you unhappy. The Void Demon God Slash is a high-grade meditation technique. Its true meaning is to treat everything as the void and treat everything in a mortal world that makes you uncomfortable as ghosts and gods. Only by slaying all the ghosts and gods can you enter a meditative state. The old man Gu Xiong continued. When one cultivates the void ghost slash to the extreme, they would have a kind of aura. All living beings would be treated as ghosts and gods, and they would all be slain. Those who submit to me will prosper, and those who oppose me will perish. Young master, do you feel unhappy? Now, I'm very unhappy. Jiang Lu broke an iron pillar with his elbow. Jiang Zhendong's family is still not dealt with? According to the Jiang family's rules, we should directly capture them and get rid of those bastards so that Jiang Zhendong can research the sun and moon essence. The main reason is that Jiang Tao's identity made my father have some misgivings. Moreover, that damn Jiangli bastard, he actually didn't bow and scrape to me? This attitude makes me very unhappy. If you're unhappy, then just kill them. Gu Xiong said, only by killing them will young master feel at ease, and your cultivation will advance by leaps and bounds. That's right, I want to kill them. Jiang Lu stopped and stood still. Void demon god slash. He. These two brothers will become my stepping stones to enter the state of meditation. Is Ouyang Xing here? Young master, Ouyang Xing has arrived. He has been waiting outside for a long time. A man in black walked in. Call him in. Yes. Not long after, the man in black brought Ouyang Xing in. Ouyang Xing lowered his head. In the past, he was full of vigor, but in front of Jiang Lu, he didn't dare to be presumptuous. The other party's power was too great, even enough to make his family go bankrupt. I heard that Jiang Li defeated you? Jiang Lu asked. Raise your head. Yes. Ouyang Xing could only do as he was told. Young master, what's your order? My order is very simple. Jiang Lu proudly said, I will give you a task. Create an opportunity for me to personally kill the two Jiang Li brothers. How about it? This. Ouyang Xing was stunned. Killing people absolutely cannot be done in Star City, unless the two brothers go to the black market. However, Jiang Tao didn't go home to participate in the military training, and Jiang Li didn't come to school every day. The possibility of them going to the black market is very small. Of course I know. Jiang Lu snorted, which made Ouyang Xing's body tremble. Jiang Tao won't say it. Wait until he comes back and then kill him. Now I want you to take Jiang Li to the black market. Young master is so powerful. Can't you personally take Jiang Li to the black market and then kill him? Ouyang Xing was stunned. It's not convenient for me to do it. The reputation of Sun and Moon Corporation is important, so I came to you. Since you were defeated by him, you can take revenge on him in the name of revenge. Jiang Lu said, no matter what method you use, you must take Jiang Li to the black market. Do you understand? After this, I can give you a lot of benefits. If you don't listen to me, you should know the consequences. My casual action can make your family's business difficult and bankrupt. Yes, I will go back and plan. Ouyang Xing's whole body was covered in cold sweat. Go. Jiang Lu waved his hand and waited for Ouyang Xing to leave. Call Zheng Wenbing, Zhang Yu, and Yang Wu here. Young master is quite capable. Instead of doing it yourself, you let these people who have a grudge with Jiang Li do it. This way, even if something happens, it will have nothing to do with the reputation of our Sun and Moon Corporation. Gu Xiong praised. I'm too lazy to use my own power. It's better to let these small characters do it. Jiang Lu laughed. It won't be a pity even if something happens to them. At this time, the three people were brought in. Zheng Wenbing and the other two people bowed even more to Jiang Lu, almost kneeling. Have your families gone bankrupt? Jiang Lu asked. Young Master Lu, can you help us? Zheng Wenbing grabbed the chance and begged. Back then, we bought young Master Lu's moon essence and were robbed in the black market. We don't know who did it. I'll tell you who did it. Jiang Lu stood with his hands behind his back. Who is the most powerful hypnotist in Star City? Zheng Wenbing suddenly woke up. He signed a contract as a hypnotist for the security company. Now, he can hypnotize dozens of people every day. Only this kind of ability can rob our goods. Yes, it's him, Jiang Lu said. Now you know what to do, right? Chapter 70. We know what to do. Zheng Wenbing's eyes flashed with hatred. Young Master Lu, don't worry. As long as you support us, we'll make sure he's beyond redemption. After knowing that their family's 7 million moon essence was stolen by Jiang Li, the three of them hated Jiang Li to the core. Even if they used all the water in the world, they wouldn't be able to wash away their hatred. Of course I'll support you in your revenge. At least make him spit out the 7 million moon essence. Jiang Lu tapped the screen, and a lot of information appeared on it. Look, Jiang Li has already bought a villa in the White Dragon River Villa district. You guys will also live in this district. Monitor his family's every move and report to me at any time. Got it? He can actually afford a villa by the White Dragon River. Zhang Yu clenched his fists. Seems like our goods were stolen by him. We can't live under the same sky. Young Master Lu, our family's cash flow is not good. Our house has been mortgaged, and we're no longer living in the White Dragon River Villa. I'm afraid we won't be able to monitor it. Zheng Wenbing's eyes flashed. If I tell you to live there, you'll live there. Got it? Jiang Lu waved his hand and threw 3 chips to the 3 of them. This is your original villa. I bought it. If you work hard for me, it won't be difficult to return it to you. What? The 3 of them took the chips and looked at each other. Then they lowered their heads. From now on, we'll go through fire and water for young Master Lu. We won't hesitate. Go. Jiang Lu turned his back to the 3 of them, and they left. Beep, beep, beep. Jiang Zhenyue's figure appeared on the 3D screen in Jiang Lu's house. Luer, come to my office. Yes. Jiang Lu immediately went up and saw his father in the office on the top floor. Father, why are you looking for me? Look at the news I received recently. Jiang Zhenyue tapped on the screen, and a lot of words appeared. 36 Hua cities are launching a super big student trial, sending the best of the graduating high school students to Planet Ripple for cruel training to increase their strength so that more of them can enter Starry Sky University. Jiang Lu was shocked. Is this news true? Of course. Jiang Zhenyue nodded. On Earth, all the cities with the word Hua in them are the descendants of the Huaxia country from 200 years ago. In the entire human government, the descendants of the Asian race occupy a large position. However, the upper echelons of the human government are fighting openly and secretly, accumulating power and gaining more authority. The students trained by Star University were all elites who would become senior government officials in the future. Therefore, the more people of the same race were admitted, the more power they would have in the future. A few years ago, Caucasians were the majority in the Star University exam. So this time, the government officials of the Asian bloodline have made up their minds and sent their students to train in order to nurture more peerless experts. Tisk tisk. Jiang Lu smiled. You're actually going to Planet Ripple Wave for a trial? That's one of the most dangerous planets discovered by mankind. You will also be participating in this trial. Jiang Zhenyue nodded. This is a trial for you. Although our Sun and Moon group is big, there are many disciples like you, so the resources won't fall on you. Moreover, our Sun and Moon group is still relatively weak compared to the entire human government of the Huaxia country. I hope you can stand out in this trial and get the favor of the leaders of the Huaxia country. This relationship will be very helpful for you to improve your family status. On Earth, there were 36 cities with the word Hua in them. They were all descendants of the Huaxia country from 200 years ago. The largest was Hua City, which was about 10 times the size of Hua Star City. It was in charge of the other Hua cities. It was a first-tier city that belonged to the human race. The other Yinhua City, Yuehua City, and Rihua City were all second-tier cities. As for Hua Star City, it was a 4th-tier or 5th-tier city. Although the Sun and Moon group was huge, Jiang Zhenyue himself was just a senior executive in the group, so he didn't have much resources to mobilize. If he could have a relationship with the leaders of the Huaxia country, it would be of great benefit. Also, Lu Er, I hope you can get first place in this trial. Jiang Zhenyue said, this is a training for you. Defeat all the students and get first place. Don't let down the Jiang family's reputation. Of course. Jiang Lu's mouth revealed a trace of smile. How can those country bumpkins on Earth be my opponent? All right, in the trial, I can easily kill Jiang Li. As for Jiang Zhendong, I will have to rely on my father. Jiang Zhendong will return to the Sun and Moon group to continue his research. It is a foregone conclusion that he can't avoid it. Capture his son, cripple him, and threaten him. He will naturally listen to us and follow us to research. Jiang Jinyue waved his hand indifferently. In Huastar City, there are laws. You can't threaten him openly. When you reach Planet Ripple, you can do whatever you want his son. Yes. Jiang Lu looked at the sky. I can't wait. Ding dong. On this day, Jiang Li was training. Suddenly, a message came from the chip. Jiang Li, come to my office. It was from Chu Cece again. Jiang Li immediately went to the office and saw that there was a lot of information on the big screen. Chu Cece looked at it carefully. The leaders of the capital are making a big move. They are preparing for a super big trial among the students. They are sending all the third-year students with vitality points of 1 to the dangerous planet Quaking Wave to train and nurture experts. Planet Ripple? That's dangerous. Jiang Li was moved. He had never left Earth before. He had never even been to the capital. This is the ruthlessness of the leaders of the capital. They want to cultivate strong people and fight for more power for the yellow race when they enter Star University. Chu Cece said, I believe that in a few days, the school will send you a message asking you to go. Your vitality is 1. 3. Although it is not as good as the top students in the capital, it is not too far off. What? My current strength is not as good as the top students in the capital? What is their vitality? Jiang Li was shocked. I heard that there are students with vitality exceeding 1. 5. After all, the capital is the #1 city among all the Hua cities, a first-tier human city. The resources in the capital are not something that a small Hua city can compare with. For example, there are no intermediate hypnotists in Hua City, but there are many in the capital. There is even advanced hypnotist. Chu Cece said, high-level hypnotist. Jiang Li's eyes lit up. The intermediate hypnotists he met, whether it was Chu Shan or Gu Xiong, were all earth-shattering figures. Intermediate hypnotists were already so powerful. How powerful would a high-level hypnotist be? A high-level hypnotist could hypnotize people to unleash their full potential. With just a thought, an ordinary person could become a monster with infinite strength. Even a high-level hypnotist could develop other people's brain and increase their intelligence. This was the power of the ancient masters. You are powerful in Star Hua City, but in the capital, you don't stand out. Chu Cece said, the most powerful student in the capital can probably compete with Jiang Lu. You need to continue to work hard. I'm looking forward to going to another planet for training. Jiang Li looked up at the sky. The mysterious universe touched everyone's heart. Jiang Li cultivated even more diligently, comprehending the profound mysteries of the great Emperor's Thunder Seal. He was completely immersed in the tempering of his soul and body. He didn't know how long it would take, but he really felt like he was dreaming for 1,000 autumns, and he didn't know what year it was. Every day, he would drink 2 bottles of Sun Spirit's Essence and 5 bottles of Moon Spirit's Essence at night. Under the crazy training, his whole body's muscles and bones became firm. Every time he exerted his strength, it was like a dragon's roar. Every inch of his pores was filled with air and thunder. He had condensed the great Emperor's Thunder Seal into his bone marrow. Unfortunately, his state of mind was still not at the state of meditation. Fortunately, his body's strength was still increasing. Of course, he could not reach 1. 4. Dahe, how is your cultivation? Jiang Li sent a message. I might be going to another planet for training. Roar, roar, roar. Dahe replied, Jiang Li, I have cultivated the brain of the universe, and my spirit force has increased tremendously. Recently, I have been able to hypnotize people easily. Today, I hypnotized another expert. That expert was actually a beginner hypnotist from the capital. After being hypnotized by me, he actually resisted but was defeated by me. I obtained 20 bottles of Sun Spirit's Essence from him. However, I didn't manage to find any information about the fruit of life. Oh, right. I obtained 200,000 from this beginner hypnotist. Did you receive a transfer? Anyway, there's no rush. Just take care of yourself. Only then did Jiang Li look at his microchip account. As expected, there was an additional transfer of 200,000 star dollars. I received it. Good fellow, I have been immersing myself in my cultivation for the past few days. The funds in my account are about to exceed $1,000,000 again. Right now, the funds in his account were 963,897, 25 star dollars. It was all the money that Jiangli had received from the past few days of hypnosis and Dahe, the cat's transfer. Ever since he had Dahe the cat, it was equivalent to having a god of wealth. Also, in another place, I have buried 30 bottles of moon spirits essence, 10 bottles of sun spirits essence, and a large amount of snow marrow. Quickly send someone to retrieve it. Dahe the cat sent a message. When you return from the outer planet training, we will compete again. You will probably be gone for a few months. And it is very likely that when I return, I will be participating in the Starry Sky University's examination. When you have time, come back and take care of my family, especially my sister, so that no one will harm her. No problem. Leave your family to me. I am also very familiar with your sister. When you are not here, she often takes your place to feed us. Dahe the cat roared again. That's enough. I have to go cultivate. Just after cutting off contact with Dahe the cat, Jiangli received another email. It was from the school. Tomorrow, all students with vitality of 1 come to school. Jinghua City will organize the best students to go to the outer planet training. Be prepared. If you don't want to go, you can ask for leave. If you want to go, be prepared to leave Earth for 100 days. Go into an outer planet training for 100 days? Then when I return home, it will be the Starry Sky University's examination. Jiangli was surprised. 100 days of training is not long, but it is not short either. In Taoism, there's 100 days of foundation building that can cause a person to have earth-shaking changes. Chapter 71. The next day, Jiangli hurried to the school. This was his first class since the start of the semester. He hadn't been to school for 20 days, mainly to avoid Jianglu. At the same time, he worked hard to accumulate his strength for the final confrontation with Jianglu. He knew that Jianglu wanted to kill him. When he arrived at the school, Jianglu didn't show up. He didn't know what he was doing. Luohan and Serene immediately asked Jiangli, "Did you see the email from the school?" This time, the scale of the trial is huge. All the students in the 36 Hua cities with vitality above 1 are nothing compared to the last military trial. Jiangli nodded. I've received the email from a school. The trial will last 100 days, and we'll go to another planet. But there are only a dozen people with vitality in our school. I wonder how many other schools have. Xinghua City is a 4th or 5th tier city. There are relatively few students with vitality of 1. I heard that Beijing has more than 100. The total population of the 36 Hua cities should be more than 1,000. That's really a lot of experts. Snow Spirit licked her lips. Jiangli, we need to stick together now, so that we won't be bullied. I think this trial will be very dangerous. Luohan was also very serious. There are groups of monsters on planet Cubo, and there are even more powerful alien warriors. This planet hasn't been developed by humans yet. It's a wild planet. As they talked, the 3 of them came to the big classroom. There were 15 people gathered in the big classroom. Apart from the original top 10 experts, there were 5 more students who had just been promoted to Vitality 1. Ouyang Xing was one of them. When he saw Jiangli approaching, his eyes flashed with hatred. However, this kind of gaze disappeared in a flash, and he pretended not to see it. Now, he wasn't as powerful as before. The number 1 master in the school had been taken away by Jiangli. However, Jiangli's limelight was overshadowed by Jianglu. In contrast, Jianglu was the real big shot, looking down on all living things. Are all the students here? The principal appeared. The rumbling flying car outside was prepared by the school. Students, you must have seen the email from the school. Is there anyone who wants to quit? No. Their voices were very uniform. This trial allowed one to go to an alien planet. It was a rare opportunity, and there was no need to pay any fees. It was all funded by the government. Although it was dangerous, it was also a chance to gain experience. Anyone who didn't go would be a fool. All right, get in the car. We're going to Jinghua City. Naturally, there will be government officials heading to the wormhole jump launch base. The principal said, get in the car. There's no need to wait for them. Student Jianglu has already gone to Jinghua City. The 15 students immediately got into the car and soared into the sky, disappearing in an instant. Jiangli looked out of the window. Xinghua City was getting further and further away from him. He had already sent an email to his parents, telling them not to worry. At the same time, he transferred all the money in his bank card to his parents, asking them to make arrangements for their living arrangements and train his sister. Going to the alien planet Crooked Wave, there was no need to use any money. Not even bank account information could be found there. It was completely on the other side of the starry sky, a completely different world. 5 hours later, the huge Jinghua City appeared in front of him. Jiangli saw tall buildings rising from the ground. Buildings like the Silver Horse Building were everywhere, and there were flying cars everywhere in the sky, flying around like locusts, which was completely different from Xinghua City, where few flying cars could be seen. The traffic in the air was very busy. Even Jiangli saw a team of policemen in power armor patrolling the sky. When they flew, they made a rumbling sound, which deterred any lawbreakers. At a glance, the whole city couldn't be seen at all. Even in some central areas of the city, mountains were built and the super rich lived on the mountains. A mountain was built in the city. What kind of concept is this? The mountains in this city are more than 10 times more expensive than the mountains on the outskirts of Xinghua City. There were too many rich people in Jinghua City. Jiangli had a feeling of eye-opening. This was the first time he came to Jinghua City, and it was even more prosperous than he had imagined. The buildings of Jinghua City even extended to the ocean. In the ocean, there were artificial islands on which a large group was built. The birds were singing, the flowers were fragrant, and the clouds were shrouded. Jiangli suddenly thought of many overseas rogue cultivators in Xinsha novels. Great human beings, great technology. In the long run, human civilization will be developed to the extreme, and it is very likely that it will truly develop into the world of immortals. In the feudal era, humans could not imagine airplanes, and in the era of countries, humans could not imagine the current wormhole jump. Here we are. Below is Jinghua High School. All our students with vitality of 1 will gather in this high school, and then, under the leadership of the military, we will go to the wormhole jump base. The principal's car landed, and Jiangli saw a school 10 times larger than Xinghua High School. It was a mountain. In the center of the city, the mountain was full of houses and buildings. In some places, a huge waterfall was roaring. It was artificially built and looked natural. Even when it rained on the mountain, there would be rainbows. This was all an artificial climate intervention system. Today's technology can completely interfere with the climate. If the whole city wants to rain, it will rain, and if it wants to snow, it will snow. This is the great power of technology. The car landed on the huge playground. Jiangli got out of the car and saw cars everywhere, and groups of students gathered together. They are all people with strong vitality. Luohan came up and looked around. Look, those are the students of Yuehua City. There are more than 30 of them. The guy who is surrounded by the stars is the #1 expert. His vitality seems to have reached 1-3. His name is Xiao Qiao. Students from each school gathered together to form a small group. Students from a total of 36 cities have arrived at the square of Jinghua High School. There are really many experts, hidden dragons, and crouching tigers. At a glance, Jiangli saw that there were a lot of strong auras. Look, there are students from Jinghua High School over there, so many. I'm afraid there are more than 300 people. Xueling exclaimed softly in shock. Jiangli immediately saw a large group of students walking over from afar. The overall quality of this group of students was clearly higher than that of the other middle schools. Everyone's spirit, energy, and spirit could be seen clearly, and there was a sense of disdain. They looked down on the students from other schools. In fact, the students from each city's high school used to look down on each other and fight with each other. There are even conflicts between students from different classes. Jiang Lu is actually mingling with those people from Jinghua High School. Jiang Li's eyes moved. He saw that among the 300 students from Jinghua High School, Jiang Lu was actually at the front. He was talking and laughing with someone who is obviously the leader of the students, and the students behind could only follow. That is the #1 student from Jinghua City. His name is Yu Muhua. His vitality has reached 1.5. He is the son of a big shot in Jinghua City, Serene said. But it seems that he is also trying to build a relationship with Jianglu. Of course, Jianglu is the son of the Sun and Moon Corporation. Even Yu Muhua needs the essence of the Sun and Moon. Luohan said seriously, "Actually, I suspect that the Sun and Moon Corporation has already started to contact the big shots in Jinghua City. They have a lot of connections. Jianglu is now in our high school. He should take care of us during the trial, right?" At this time, another student said. Jiangli took a look and found that it was a student who had just advanced to 1 vitality. He was still pinning his hopes on others. Boom! Just when many students gathered on the square, a black shadow suddenly descended from the sky. The ground shook. It was a person wearing a mecha. Zhongwu supersonic mecha. Jiangli looked at the mighty and domineering shadow and was instantly shocked. He was shocked to see the mecha up close. If it was used against him, even 100 of them would be killed in 10 seconds. The mecha's helmet opened automatically, and a square-faced soldier appeared. "Hello, everyone. I am the commander of the highest army in Jinghua City, Wang Changshan. I won't say anything unnecessary. Now, follow me to the wormhole jump base on the sea." Boom! In an instant, a battleship appeared in the sky. This battleship floated in the air and didn't land. Instead, many small aircrafts appeared on it, each of which could seat dozens of people. All the students began to enter the battleship. About half an hour later, Jiangli arrived on the battleship in the small aircrafts. This battleship was 4 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide. The moment Jiangli entered it, he felt like he was completely isolated from the outside world. It was like he had entered an independent world. He sat together with Luohan and Shirin on a huge metal bed. They could lie down or meditate. There was a large screen in front of them that allowed them to see the situation outside the battleship. Blue sea and blue sky. Everything was quiet. Jiangli felt that everything was novel. "Are we going to use this battleship to jump through the wormhole later?" Jiangli asked. "Yes, this battleship is called the Immemorial Battleship. It's made from a combination of high-tech, rare alloys and energy compression. That's why it can withstand the power of wormhole jumps." Snow Spirit said, "The cost of every square meter is 10 million star dollars. The cost of each square meter is 10 million star dollars. Jiangli was shocked. How many square meters is the entire battleship? My God, isn't it priceless? That's for sure. A battleship that can jump through a wormhole is a priceless treasure." Luohan said, "This is also my first time doing a wormhole jump. This is the great power of humanity." Jiangli had long felt the greatness of humanity's science and technology. "Look, we have already arrived at the wormhole jump base in the deep sea." The huge battleship plunged into the water and began to dive. Jiangli saw the scenery of the deep sea on the screen. Especially at the bottom of the sea, there was a huge building launcher that seemed to be boundless. Countless underwater robots were working there, and the huge amount of energy made him feel a kind of fear in his heart. After entering the wormhole jump base, everyone is to lie down on the bed. During the wormhole jump, the human mind will stop working. The soul will be in a state of suspended animation, and the vitality of people below 1 will be extremely weak when enduring the power of the wormhole jump. They might even die. On the screen, all kinds of knowledge were introduced. The planet we are heading to is planet Crooked Wave. It is similar to Earth in that it is also filled with oxygen and water. It is suitable for humans to live on, but it is 10 times bigger than Earth. However, inside the planet, there is a strange energy that surrounds the entire planet, causing the planet's gravity to be similar to Earth's. The laws of gravity are not suitable on this planet. The explanation went on for more than an hour. Suddenly, an urgent voice sounded. The battleship was in a state of warping. Jiangli hurriedly lay down on the bed. Suddenly, a cover came down and covered him completely. Instantly, he heard a voice. "Wormhole jump, countdown 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. Jump start." Boom! He immediately felt a huge shock in his heart. His whole body seemed to be distorted, and his vision became blurry. Suddenly, his consciousness disappeared, as if he was being torn into many particles. He had died. Suddenly, the milky white stone on his chest trembled. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.